Alrighty. Hello and good morning, everybody, or anybody who wishes to enjoy Dice Throne tournaments as much as all of us fanatics do. My name is Camwy. I'm going to be streaming as much of the one-day tournament that the Dice Throne World Cup, Dice Throne World Cup Discord channel has put up for any and all to join, and I believe more of these one-day tournaments are coming in the future. This is the inaugural one, but looking forward to many more in the future. If you have any interest in Dice Throne as a tournament game, there are a couple of Discord channels. You know, the official one is a great one to reach out to like-minded individuals who are just as fanatic about this game and would love to play any and every one that they can. And along with that, there's at least a couple of other Dice Throne channels that I can think of that focus on tournaments. There's been the Dice Throne Online Championship one in the past. Build Phase has thrown a few here and there, and Dice Throne World Cup is wrapping up its first World Cup one as well as we speak. But I wanted to do something a little different today. Rather than playing in this tournament, I wanted to do some commentary tracks, so to speak, of gameplay. So we're going to be completely mute to the players as they play. They will not be able to hear me. And once I unmute them, let me know how the volume is. If there's anything funny or strange with, if they need to be louder or if I need to be quieter or what have you. Dice Throne's a very conversational game, so there might be plenty of times where I don't necessarily speak up too much, so I don't interrupt, what's actually happening or what have you. We're learning in real time here, so hopefully this goes smoothly. And if you're tuning into this real time as well, you can certainly watch these games in the Discord channels themselves without my hopefully not too annoying commentary, if you would prefer to simply watch them organically. So, yeah, without further ado, I'm going to unmute the Discord, and if there's anything funny audio-wise, hopefully someone can let me know. Yeah, it looks like a first game that we've got to broadcast today is going to be Grace J06 on Shadow Thief versus a top 500 player as Paladin.
I did that. I should do that. Okay.
The view is fine. It's so blurred. Can't really see that.
Oh, it's blurry?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. It's not blurry on mine. I don't know how to fix that. I don't know what I'm doing.
So yeah, Dice Throne in general does not typically have judges, so to speak. I mean, perhaps in live person tournaments rather than online, there will be, tournament organizers who can be asked questions as far as if there's confusions or discrepancies in how to interpret rules or what have you. But otherwise, even if we quote unquote spot a mistake, that's up to the players themselves to discover or realize or correct or what have you. Or if there's an argument to be had on how the timing of this or that works, that's completely up to them. We're just fortunate enough to be privy to watching their games rather than having any impact on the game whatsoever. And we've cracked open the first energy drink of the tournament. Yes, Dice Throne World Cup, sponsored by Heatap. So here we go.
Laptop, because then you won't be able to see.
You'll have to forgive me. I've had such a rush this morning that I will be eating as well during the at least beginning parts of these tournaments. I'm going to try my absolute darndest to where you will not hear any of that whatsoever.
Symbols, but not really the numbers.
Okay.
Tell me them. Tell me the numbers.
Like, tell you which ones are which right now or during the game? The main thing on his board is going to be 5 and 6, which are both different symbols from everything else.
see any of your dice position, but if you move them like closer to the dial, it's fine.
Yeah, no. When I roll, I'm gonna move it on top of my board.
But not the numbers.
Yeah. Which?
Want to go first?
So yeah, if the audio's decent enough to where I need to be just a little bit louder than them, to where we don't
Nice. Yeah. I rolled a 1.
we don't make it to where you can't hear what they're saying, but you can hear me more predominantly whenever I'm discussing something. So if the audio sounds like it's at a decent level to accomplish that, awesome. But if not, if I need to increase or decrease their volume, let me know.
Shuffle and all.
Yeah. Okay, and then you said you wanted to do a big cut.
Up half.
Okay. Top half. Okay, so they're shuffled. Are you gonna cut yours too? Or you both?
To tell me how much.
Okay. How much did you say for me? I'm sorry.
I said half.
Just half. Okay, that's what I thought. Just straight, like, half. Yeah, just do half too.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Starting here. Grade root. Just combat. Oh.
That's a lot of 3s.
Okay, so yeah, Shadow Thief versus Paladin is going to be interesting because Shadow Thief likes to set up and go for late game, and Paladin, in the meantime, is
Combat.
able to sustain to mid game pretty well. So I guess the question will be whether or not Paladin can do enough undefendable damage to circumvent Shadow defense, or whether or not
8 damage.
Shadow Thief will be able to accumulate enough CP or what have you to close out the game before Paladin wears Shadow Thief
Shadow
down.
defense, which probably is not going to work right away, but
So it looks like we got a righteous combat
2, 2,
for
4. So I give you a poison and then I take 8.
yeah. So
Okay.
Which puts me at 42.
I should grab the
Do you have
upgrade
anything
cards
ready
as
in your
well so I
second
can check them on my side too here. Yeah, as much as it can be described, I suppose righteous combat is the basic attack of the paladin. You know, the biggest struggle for paladin, as most people are aware of, is in the place of where your basic attack is, you've got a passive. So dice rolls are a little bit harder just by default
I
there.
think you're cutting out. I'm sorry. Okay, are you done with your second man then? Are you doing anything in it?
Done.
Okay, cool. So gain a CP, puts me 3, draw a card. Okay, so I have Vegas, which it's a 6, so it's 3. 6. Got double up. Cost 1.
So yeah, Shadow Thief here going second might be a bit of a bummer, but starting out with
And I'm gonna go ahead and roll.
both a Vegas and a card draw,
So
that immediately
6, 5,
starts the
3,
engine
2.
that Shadow Thief is looking for typically.
Okay, I'm gonna take my 2 6s and we'll see how that goes. Okay. 6, 5, and 3. Oops. Okay, so 6, 6, 3, 5. So I'm gonna do Shadow Dance. As long as that's good with you.
Sure. Go ahead.
Gain shadows and sneak attack. Roll 1 dice, have value pure damage.
Okay. Might increase
So I rolled a 2.
top
So that's gonna be
500's
1
volume here.
damage.
He's a little quiet on my end. That might help a bit.
Turn.
Mm-hmm.
Poison damage. Card. Gain a CP. Go to rolls.
And 3, 4, 5 there. Be decent enough odds to keep that and maybe go for a straight. Go for a smaller large straight there. Yeah, plethora of helmets does help quite a few things. Honestly, you might instead keep the 3 helmets and look for a 6 to take advantage of that retaliate upgrade. Sweet. Thanks. Thanks, my turtle. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a ton of experience with Paladin. I have played him in a DTA game, so I do know how strong he can be, but co-op is a very different beast from, competitive, especially tournament competitive. Okay, I got a small straight. Could certainly pick up that last one. That last 3, unless he was worried about... Oh, no. Picking up the 1s and 2s. But don't think that's anything to my knowledge. It's close to a couple, though. But always gotta run the risk of counter dice hate. Yeah, just the consistency of Paladin is probably the biggest struggle that I've seen in competitive play. I haven't seen Paladin too much. For whatever reason, he keeps missing me in tournaments.
Holy light.
Yep.
On. Heck, I guess. Then cast.
Sorry, I have no idea what you said.
Your turn.
Oh, my turn. Okay. So you healed 2 and gained protect. Is that what happened? Okay. So gaining a CP. Drawing a card.
Now, I've seen Argon Jedit's strategies recommend not going for sustain when playing against the Shadow Thief, because the Shadow Thief is going to out-sustain you every time. But unfortunately, sometimes if you just go full gas and hit high attack, high attack, high attack, and nothing else, they might shadow defense successfully a couple times and it's still just as tough. So I don't have a perfect answer for how to
I'm gonna keep my 5.
counter a Shadow Thief, other than it's probably more wise to go for high consistent damage
That didn't work.
and just wear them down, make them use all their dice mods on their defense,
6.
rather than being able to secure large straights or their ultimate for big late game attacks. But if anyone could attempt to give Shadow Thief a run for their money as far as sustaining, it would probably be a monk or paladin. So
CP do I have?
medium game sustain might beat late game advantage. Just kind of depends upon the cadence of the game.
I'm gonna just keep my 5. I don't want this monster. Okay. So now I've got 5, 5, 3, 6, 6, which is wild. So basically, I've got draw 2 cards. Good with you? Yeah, if that's good with you. Cards over here. So I'll gain 2 cards. And then I lose my shadows. There's 7 cards, so I'm gonna sell Counter Strike. Get 5 CP, and then that's the end of my turn.
Turn. Take a poison damage. Oh. Yep.
Ah, well, welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah, as soon as this game ends, I'll switch over to the other one if it's still going live. Otherwise, as the games are live, I will switch them as soon as I can. So yeah, Shadow Thief did a classic sustain turn, drawing a few cards, which, actually only a couple cards, which even just a 2-card draw on Carducopia can be very significant. And Shadow Thief already spent... Oh, no, not going for the Holy Light here. Picked up all those. So, could try to chase the Retaliate. Looks like he's going for Mighty Prayer. Okay, which didn't quite happen. And a 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. That is a requital. Don't think it's anything else at this point for them. And Shadow Thief has already spent one of the 4 status hate cards, you know, transference. So there's only 3 left in Shadow Thief deck there. So the Retribution might be perfectly safe to keep and at the first sign of damage spend.
So you're doing 3 to me?
And Undefendable is also quite strong against the Shadow Thief. For obvious reasons. Arguably, Shadow Defense is the best defense in the game. Well, arguably, it's not innately the best. There's definitely some, like, you know, a flipped Cursed Pyre that feel really good to roll also. But they can feel the most impactful and definitely inflict the most mental damage to your opponent whenever they have a great turn, you know, roll a very high attack, and you just flop several 6s on the defense. Like, that's nice. Like, unless you got a bye-bye, that's nice. All right, so
Okay, so I've got 2, 4, 5, 5, 6. I'm gonna keep my 2 5s and roll these 2.
continuing the building up phase here.
2 more 5s. So 5, 5, 3 is what I just rolled. So I've got 4 5s and a 3.
Yeah, this is gonna be well on its way to getting Shadow Thief set up here.
So I can draw 4 cards is what I got going on. As long as you're cool with that. We're good? Okay, I'm gonna take that as a yes. I can't hear it very well. It's cutting out. So. Sorry. Okay. So now I've got tons of cards. I'm gonna sell one more time. 8. Play Insidious Strike 2.
Right.
Puts me at 6. What do we got going on here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So what does that do? Okay, so I'm gonna get rid of your Retribution with get that out of here.
Okay, so that's 2. So she's only got Shadow Thief only has 2
I have to sacrifice
status hate cards left, in without reshuffling the deck, of course. So Paladin might feel a little more secure with continuing to ramp up the engine, but the what status effects is still out there. So even a particularly productive turn.
I'm gonna sell what status effect.
Oh, and there that goes too. So yeah, at this point,
Okay.
Paladin can feel fairly safe.
You're good to go.
Tell.
Because
What?
bye-bye's all that's left.
CP.
CP is at 6. After all the selling, etc.
P. Holy Light 2.
Okay, so Paladin does have a retaliate on the flop there. Choosing instead to chase a mighty prayer, it looks. And looks like he's got it, unless Shadow Thief is going to attempt to mess with the dice.
3 damage.
3 damage. So I'm going from 39 to 36.
It's your turn.
Fantasy P puts me at 7. Draw a card. Shadow Dance upgrade. Pay 1 CP for that. Puts me back at 6.
Yep. I might value Shadow Dance upgrade a little bit more than it should be myself. I enjoy that it replaces itself as far as cards. If you roll it, get you that card draw for just 1 CP. And that's arguably worth it. Just spending 1 CP for a card is potentially a perfectly worthwhile trade. But it is arguable that it costs 2 CP. I really like that train of thought with Shadow Thief. Like, every card you don't sell, that costs an extra CP, because that's an extra damage that you have just given up, depending upon if you're going for your straights or your ultimate. You can certainly play a low CP Thief who uses dagger strikes, poisons, and then just tries their best to avoid damage otherwise.
Give me 3 6s to Shadow Dance and put me back at 5 CP.
Do Shadow Dance.
Yes. So
Helping Hand.
helping hand on my 6s. Gotcha. I have a 3.
Alright, so both sides have used the dice hate card now, so
2, 2, 3, 6, 6, which I don't think is anything, but I'm looking at my board just for funsies. Okay. Yeah. Your turn.
alright, Paladin did force a whiff there, so got a decent back and forth here as far as sustain from the Shadow Thief versus keeping the game in their favor for Paladin.
Whatever.
Alright, Paladin's queued up to do very high undefendable damage here. So, unless,
That's something.
let's see, it needs to be a base of 5. Yeah, so crit could be spent on a Righteous Combat. Looks like he's got an open-ended small straight here at the roll 2 as well. And considering the opponent, whipped, he's got perfectly secure idea to attempt to go for that large straight. He doesn't get it. But, and looks like that's going to be a solid 10 undefendable with healing 1.
Volk.
To make it undefendable, is that what you said?
4.
I'm sorry, I really can't hear what you said.
And undefendable total.
10 undefendable total. Okay. That I understand. Okay. I'm gonna wild shot them.
Yep, that is the basically one last get out of jail free card that the Shadow Thief has, assuming the opponent doesn't buy it.
Pass turn.
Okay. Gain a CP puts me at 2. Draw a card. Okay.
Yeah, Shadow Thief's been staying in there with
I'm gonna sell my small straight upgrade. Puts me at 3.
with card expenditure, but has not been able to build up a CP bar to inflict heavy damage.
Let me go ahead and roll.
And the poisons haven't really been coming out either, but that's because there's been plenty of undefendable damage from the Paladin.
1, 1, 3, 4, 6. I don't particularly want any of that. Okay, 1, 2, 2, 5, 6. I'm gonna take my 5 and then take my chances with the rest of these. Which went interesting here. So now I've got 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I gain 2 CP and steal 1 of them from you.
Okay.
Lose my shadows at the end of my turn. And then it's back to you.
Heck. Take 1 from.
Oh, how do you pronounce mine? My gamer tag there, if you will, my username, Camwe. Think of it as 2 syllables, Cam and We. Japanese, what's the word I'm looking for? English spelling loves silent U's. They're all over the place. So instead of Kamui, it's Camwe. And you kind of almost unconsciously pronounce the U when you do that. It's kind of fun, Camwe. So, yeah. And it's just, I've had that username since half my life ago when I was a teenager. And in honor of good old Blunder Years memory, I'm going to keep using that probably my whole life. Alright, so we got a Requital again. And there's only 1 status hate card remaining in the Shadow Thief deck. So even though it's just 1 heal, 3 undefendable, and a retribution, you can nearly guarantee that all of that's going to be undefendable damage.
Okay. So I will take 3, puts me at 33.
That's my turn.
Okay. And a CP puts me to 6. Draw a card. Okay, okay. Then I'm gonna roll. One, 2, 4, 4, 4. Yeah, I don't like that. I'm just gonna scoop that. Okay. Well, that's more interesting. Just got basically the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Which I'm not a fan of. Guess we're keeping 1, 2, 3, 4 because Otherwise, I'm going to sit here and look stupid. So let's roll this 4 again. 3, so that doesn't really help. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and another 3. So I guess a small straight. So gain 3 CP, goes from 6 to 9, and then I'm dealing half damage rounded up. So I'm doing 5.
Defense.
Well,
Okay.
now Shadow Thief has an interesting choice because any and all damage added is probably going to come half back, like a backstrike if she plays the sneak attack.
My defense.
Yep.
5?
5.
Seems to be electing not to try to perhaps bait out or avoid the retribution altogether.
And then that's my turn.
Alright. 5 is agreed upon by the defender, goes through. Pally's turn. And it's easy for... I'm not even sure if he did. Maybe he did remove poison damage, but it's really easy to forget upkeep phases, especially if your character doesn't do anything during upkeep phase, typically. So, at least whenever I'm playing, I like to announce like what phase I'm in. I try to make it quick and organic and not just, waste everyone's time. I'm like, alright, upkeep phase, nothing, alright, income. Just kind of talk my way through the turn. That way I
Gotcha.
don't forget about things like poison or fire mastery cooldowns as pyromancer, things like that. And sometimes you just forget, and about halfway through the turn you're remembering like, oh right, I should have one less health because of poison, and then you take it down. Your opponent's fine with it. In general, Dice Throne is a very conversational game, colloquial by design, by nature, which makes it a ton of fun to play. Even like I love this game even when I'm losing. Like it's just a very fun, friendly game. Like its atmosphere just lends itself to that, which is a lot of fun. And like you could certainly argue at the end of it all that tournament games are not really the spirit or the nature of what Dice Throne is going for. But I mean, at the end of the day, what you find fun is what you find fun. Like there's no need to your fun is wrong about it. Like if this is what you enjoy, by all means, you are welcome. I found it to be a very welcoming community. I remember being so nervous. I'm still always nervous when I play in these, but I remember being very, very nervous whenever I first started doing these online tournaments. And typically, every experience I've had has been friendly, it's been colloquial, no one's tried to pull any gotchas or like, you can't do that, because you failed to say it earlier, so you don't get it, like if you make a mistake, you correct it, everyone's cool with it. By all means, competitive desires or natures might come out, and you might, want to behave a certain way because you really want to win because that's the spirit of competition or what have you. But I found in general, it's like a 90s movies villain, like watching the early Mighty Ducks, It's like the bad guys are always like, win no matter what, and it's just not the nature of how I've experienced this game. Thankfully, it's been very friendly. And I encourage any and all who have ever thought about joining in on these to feel welcome and hopefully have the exact same experience.
Seven damage, heal 2.
7 damage. Okay, roll my little shadow defense. Okay, 4, 4, 5, 6. So that doesn't help me. You said 7? Okay. Gonna not this time it and take 1. Puts me down to 8 CP and 32 health.
So yeah, those high damage attacks can just feel like you're chipping away at an invisible barrier against the Shadow Thief. Like you just never know what all extra, you know,
Saw Dagger Strike to put
tricks or
it
clever ways to get out of damage that they're going to have, but eventually they're going to run out. So keeping up that damage is not to be discouraged. Like, you've got to keep at it.
Okay. 1, 4, 5, 5, 5. So keeping my 3 5s. Rerolling these 2.
And Shadow Thief has been very flush with 5s on this one so far.
I'm gonna reroll them one more time. 3, 6. So I've got draw 3 cards.
Go ahead.
No. Looks like still hunting for maybe the right dice mods or cards or what have you to...
7 cards, so I'm gonna sell Sneaky. Puts me at 11 CP, and then I'll pass to you.
I probably overvalue Sneaky, but as well, 1 CP for adding anywhere from 1 to 6 damage on your attack that turn. Well, probably that turn anyway. It's definitely won me games before, so I think I overvalue it, but I've certainly heard arguments that you should sell it, because selling it is 1 attack damage, you know, for your CP count. So, and you'll often get sneak attacks from your defense rolls, from your shadow defense. So, yeah, it's certainly a perfectly sellable card. I just hate to give away damage. Okay, got a Mighty Prayer off the bat here. Could certainly use it to be both undefendable and get some status effects for a high caliber attack next turn. So, yep, locking it in. Easy enough. Things are going pretty well for the Paladin, I'd argue.
Taking me from 32 to 29.
Shadow Thief does have the benefit of having 1 extra dice hate card compared to your average deck of cards, but Shadow Thief does not have any extra status effect hate cards. Only has the base 4, just like everybody else does. So,
oh, you have too many cards.
And Paladin has seen 3 of the 4 of those from the Shadow Thief already, including the board wiping one. So, you can confidently lock in Mighty Prayer every other turn, the classic bread and butter of the Paladin.
Do you need some more, or is it back to me?
So it's your turn.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure you're right for me. Gain a CP, puts me at 12, draw a card. Triple up, so I'm going to play that. Paying 2 puts me at 10 CP. Drawing the 3 cards now.
Okay. Now you got to figure at this point, even with the Retribution on the opponent's side, the Protect.
Try again.
The Protect might be worth it to still go for a large straight, or especially an ultimate, of course.
Six, 5, 5, 2, 3. Hold on to my 6.
Yep, looks like it. If I had to guess, probably going for an ult.
2, 3, 5, 6. Hold on to that 6. I have 2 6s.
But Paladin's got plenty of CP as well, and I'm not sure of card count, so this might have a lot of resources bouncing back and forth.
6. So I have 1, 5, 6, 6. Gonna use samesies and 6 it, which will put me at 9 CP, and will put me at an ultimate.
You had 2 6s, or do you have 3?
I had 3, and then I had samesies and 6 it.
Yeah, I misheard as well on that one. I thought Shadow Thief only had 2 6s.
One of your 6s to a 5.
Okay.
Gotta figure there's another dice mod.
I'm gonna so wild it back.
Yep. I figured there's gonna be a lot of resources moving on this one.
2 puts me at 7.
Play So Wild. Change your 6 to a 3.
6 to a 3. Okay. And then I will do my shadow dance.
Alright.
Like that.
Paladin held on to all the dice hate cards to... Well, that's 3 now, so Paladin's only got 1 left in their deck.
For that.
But absolutely worth it to avoid a double-digit CP owning Shadow Thief from... with a Shank.
Sneak attack, so I can't do that. And
Pulling off
draw
their
a
ult.
card because I have it upgraded.
Sneak attack, sorry. I don't know why I called it Shank. There's an ability called Shank, I think.
I'm gonna give you one more poison, and then yes.
Alright.
Now put me at 5 CP. Oh, I just threw my deck.
Alright, so
My
yeah.
turn.
with all that successful avoidance by the Paladin, it's
Poison damage.
looking pretty good for them.
Draw a card. P. Play effects on you.
You said what status effects?
Alright, brutal. Gets rid of the protect and the shadows and the sneak attack. So that was absolutely worth it. And flops a small straight. And can be fairly confident there's not any more dice mods from the Shadow Thief, otherwise you'd start seeing some more spent previous turn to get that ultimate off. So, might feel confident enough to use those rerolls and attempt to go for a large straight instead. Okay, doesn't quite get it.
I'll use
Technically gets retaliate, but I don't think this is the turn for it. I'm assuming they're definitely going to go for. Yeah, looks like stopping on the second one and just locking in the small straight and attempting to do another 10 undefendable.
Everything I could possibly play. Alright, so that puts me at 19.
Alright, we got a 20 health
cast turn.
difference between the two.
Gain a CP puts me at 6. Draw a card. Getting paid puts me at 8. There's a card if you want to see it. Anyways, I'm gonna upgrade my Carchicopia. It costs 2, puts me at 6. Then I'm gonna go ahead and roll. 1, 3, 5, 5, 6. So I'll keep my 2 5s. And then I'll roll. 1, 5, 6. Keep my 5 and my 6 here. I'll roll this last one. And that's a 1, which does nothing. So I've got 5, 5, 5, 6, which is Carchicopia.
Right.
Is that okay?
Got 4 cards in hand.
Okay.
Randomly.
We'll do the third one. Draw 3 cards.
Random discard.
Yeah. Do the second closest from your board.
Picking one, no?
Oh, you're picking one. Okay, go ahead.
I don't pick one. It's
I said
random.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I picked one. But
So yeah, how to interpret the phrase random is a good question. Usually
whatever you want to do for it.
what was occurring is what most people do. Like, you know, the player who has them shuffles them,
On a 1,
and then the opponent picks one of them.
That works.
Yeah, so that keeps it fairly random. I often ask the other person will
And then I'm
do
gonna
what
go ahead and
the paladin
do
player
my
just did and
second
roll the
thing.
dice and tell them that
I'm
one.
gonna play card trick, so
Right.
you're just gonna have to repeat what you just did.
okay?
Put me at 4 CP.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
But yeah, there aren't any like hard rules for how to determine random, so just as long as both players agree to it.
And then I'm gonna do my Shadow Defense upgrade, which costs 3, put me at 1. And then my little shadow coin thing, even though I'm not in the shadows, which will put me back to 3 CP.
My
And then
turn.
it's back to you, and I need to shuffle my deck because I'm out of cards. But yes, your turn.
Okay. And I wouldn't actually recommend shuffling your deck until you need to draw. I know it's, for convenience sake, shuffling it right now is fine, but
3 CP.
if the Shadow Thief player were to play some cards before the next card draw were to occur, those should be shuffled in. And by all means, that might just mean you have to pick it up and shuffle again. So, you know, you do you when it comes to that convenience versus hard and fast rules.
Self holy attack 2. Hear me fine? It's still kind of spotty. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I heard you there. Right.
All right, nearly got a mighty prayer. Got a couple sixes. The siren song is always tempting. Okay, looks like he's gonna settle for attempting to mighty prayer. Gets nearly the same result again, which is always frustrating.
Tossing it.
All right, has the ability to lock it in there.
I need prayer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Defendable puts me at 16. Okay, are you passing back to me or are you doing something in your second?
Yeah,
round?
I said I passed turn.
Oh, sorry, I can't hear very well. I don't know what's going on. I just reshuffled my deck, so would you like me to cut it?
Top third.
Top third, so about that much. Okay. Alright, so gain a CP puts me at 4. Draw a card. Okay, so I got Shadow Point again, which I'm just going to take as the 2 CP to put me at 6. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and roll.
Yeah. And with cards like Getting Paid or Shadow Coin, unless you're playing them to get them out of your hand because you'll have to discard down to 6 at the end of a turn, I don't really recommend playing them until you need to. There's no need to give your opponent that additional information until you quote-unquote have to. And sometimes you can bait out an opponent overcommitting if you show 0 CP at your turn. And you have a Getting Paid and a Dice Hate card in your turn. They could overcommit, play all their dice mods, chase that ultimate that would cost a little bit too much, and then you surprise them with the Dice Hate card.
Roll these 3. Okay, 3, 3, 5. So I have 3, 3, 5, 6, 6. This is gonna be the wildest thing. I'm gonna Wild Shadow, which costs 4. So it puts me at 2. And then instead of... No, I guess I need to. So I'll make this 3 a 6. And then I have my Shadow Dance.
That you can
That's
do that.
fine. Okay. Alright. So rolled a 2, so it's a 1 damage. Gain my sneak attack and shadows back and draw a card.
Yeah, considering Paladin's plethora of status effects on their board,
And I'm going to in my second
Shadow Thief is pretty much going to have to do everything they can with their offensive roll phase to get
that out of here to your accuracy.
shadows. Yeah, and targeting the accuracy as well here. That way, even if a Dice Hate occurs, I'm sorry, a Status Effects Hate card occurs on the shadows, hopefully can still get another one from a shadow defense.
Take 2 poison How much are you on?
How much health or CP? I'll just tell you both. I have 16 health and 1 CP. Sorry.
Alright. Right. Well,
You remember my shadows?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, with Babai and Shadows, there was the train of thought for a while there. Shadows makes you skip your defense, but on step 5 of the defense roll phase, right before damage occurs, you can play, you know, red or orange or status effects, speed things. So there was a theory for a while there that one could buy a Shadows then, if a Shadow Thief already had it, and that would effectively skip the Shadow Thief defense roll. So it could practically make your regularly defendable attack undefendable. And I think at first, I could be wrong, but I think at first the Dice Throne creators were like, that checks, but after a while they decided, you know what, no, that's too much gamesmanship. That is not the vibe or tone that we want our game to have. So actually, no, if you buy a Shadows on someone who hasn't rolled their defense yet on a defendable attack, they do get to roll their defense roll. So
Doing our little shadow defense.
yeah, this game does its level best to avoid any and all gotchas. Like it is a very friendly game
Use better
by
aim.
design, by carefully
My 6,
orchestrated
and these 4.
creative design, and I absolutely love it for that because they didn't have to do that.
Not wanna work
The
out.
proactive
3, 4,
effort in
5,
doing
5.
that has really made Dice Throne the fun, lovely thing that it is. You know what I mean?
So it's 7.
Might just be me and reading too much into it, but I really appreciate that and I really enjoy that.
It's 11.
Okay. Puts me at 5.
All right, it's getting pretty low and pretty desperate for the Shadow Thief here.
And it'll pass the turn.
Okay, so 1 CP puts me at 2. Draw a card. Triple up, so I pay all my CPs to do that. Getting paid puts me back at 2. Card. Getting lazy. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna roll. Five, 5, 1, 6, 6. So I keep 6, 6.
You know, with their retribution and only having 5 health, the Shadow Thief is pretty much gonna have to chase 6s for the rest of this
1,
game
5,
if they
6, and then my 2 6s I already had.
want to
6.
stand a chance at staying alive here, both to generate shadows and to avoid
1.
too much damage from a retribution.
So I have Shadow Dance again.
Right.
So roll 1 dice. 4, so I do 2. Get my shadows back and draw a card.
Is it mine?
Okay. Yes.
Oh, bless his heart, I think the Paladin player's playing on the floor, like on his knees. I'm too old for that, man. Like, props to you. Yeah, like the technical struggles that occur with internet connections, with clarity of camera or fidelity, if you will, just the logistics of placing your webcam, things like that. These are all challenges that, you know, your average individual will encounter. You know, we're not high production valuing here, but we make it work. You do what you got to do. So do not let a, you know, poor internet connection or an older webcam or a funky way to place your webcam ever dissuade you from whether or not you want to play in these tournaments. Like, we will accommodate, we are welcoming. You're all good. And the worst that'll happen sometimes is, you know, what the Paladin just did, accidentally reveal your hand, you know, on camera. But whatever. I mean, I mention it whenever I see it just because I don't want to paddle peek, so to speak. I don't want to be a younger brother and, you know, see that my opponent is doing this or that I shouldn't know.
Old.
But, you know, it's not Magic the Gathering where you're going to pull out, you know, sneaky things every turn all the time. So, not the end of the world if little flubs like that do happen.
That's 6.
What
Health are you at?
I'm at 5.
Terrible. Okay, whatever. I'll use Requital.
Okay.
Never mind. It won't. Play one more time.
Okay.
To have an opponent in shadows. Yeah, Mighty Prayer would be plenty of good stats effects to go for. Didn't quite get it, but did get a small straight that, I mean, it would heal 1. It's better than nothing.
Reroll the...
Okay. Yeah, results remain the same there.
Reroll 4 again.
Okay.
Mighty Prayer.
Okay.
So yeah, damage isn't going to go through, but a crit and an accuracy will certainly lend itself to being able to finish out the game later.
Gives me a 3. Draw a card. I'm gonna sell, try again. I'm gonna do a card trick. So you're gonna discard 1 randomly. I'm gonna draw 2 because I'm in shadows. Put me at 2 CP.
3, 4, 6. Or this one.
I'm gonna sell Dagger Strike and Shifty Strike upgrades. Put me at 4 CP
Yep.
again.
I really like the Dagger Strike upgrade because it is free and it makes your basic attack have the capability of adding card draw if you roll a 5. That actually did win me a game in a mirror match once, so another thing I probably overvalue because you know you can sell it for 1 CP, so that's basically giving up an attack damage.
Amazing right now, but it's
But
better than 114.
so selling it perfectly legit. I can't say no to free. I love upgrading that one, but I also fail to get large straights on the Shadow Thief, so I have to play a low CP Shadow Thief whether I want to or not.
So 2, 3, 3, 6, 6.
And Pickpocket's not quite what you're looking for at this stage.
I'm just gonna gain 2 CP and steal 1 of them from you. So it puts me at 6, and then I lose shadows.
My turn?
Yeah.
So, assuming a small straight comes out here for 10 damage, unless Shadow Thief has drawn the Not This Time card again. I believe it was shuffled back in.
Okay.
3. Then small straight should do it. Plenty of CP to play Enter the Shadows again if that was redrawn. So yeah, this may not be the end of it, but it certainly could be as well. I wouldn't be surprised if this isn't the last turn for the Paladin to lock in the game. It's probably the second to last one.
We'll draw a card using type.
Okay, he's fishing for card draw. I'm curious what for. Perhaps looking for a bye-bye maybe, or maybe some dice mods to feel more secure in this ability, depending upon what is rolled. You got a 3, 4, 5, and a 1, 5. So if you're cool with the straight, you can just keep the 3, 4, 5, and hopefully get a small straight on the second roll. Attempt to lock that in and keep your options open. It's not terribly far from a righteous combat, but it does take specific rolls.
Sure.
Okay, I need to buy your accuracy. Which puts me at 4 CPs.
Okay, yeah, that was about the last moment that the Shadow Thief could do that, because as soon as an attack is locked in, from then on, the attacker has priority when it comes to simultaneously desired play. So as soon as an attack is locked in, accuracy is available to be played by the attacker, and therefore, bye-bye could not have been played. Well, or at least the attacker could have maintained priority and said, I play this before your bye-bye. So, yeah, it was then or never. Yeah, the small straight did occur, but at least it looks like it's going to be 10 defendable damage. You may not even bother to increase it with the crit. I mean, I wouldn't see why not. Just because the base damage on this is within kill range of the Shadow Thief either way, since the Shadow Thief is at 5 health. They might as well spend it. I mean, you can wait till after the defense roll, no need to spend it pointlessly, but
oh, okay.
Yeah, as soon as you know that the defense did not result in shadows, you might as well.
Anyways, sorry. 1, 3, 4, 4, 6. So I use 6 it.
Yep, so unless the Paladin has a bye-bye, that's going to avoid the damage. Okay, so it looks like it did. So
put me back in shadows.
The threat of that retribution on the Paladin's board has been an absolute just sword of Damocles over the Shadow Thief's head. They have not been able to really seek out anything but ultimates or, you know, the micro ult, the Shadow Dance. So it's just hoping for shadows and poison to do their work, but it's been an absolute uphill battle for, unfortunately, quite a few turns now for the Shadow Thief. So this might just be, you hit that point sometimes. If your engine just doesn't quite succeed with Shadow Thief, the rest of it just feels like you're playing permanent catch-up that you know you will not successfully do. I mean, there's always a chance. Keep rolling them 6s. There's always a chance. Until an HP dial hits 0, game is not over. But it's looking pretty tough at this point for the Shadow Thief to be able to come back.
1, 4, 4, 6. I'm just gonna reroll it.
Moments like this might create really silly situations where you end up playing a status hate card on your own shadows so that you can gain shadows again from this turn's offensive roll phase.
Okay.
Original Shadow Thief before the re-rolled edition, which is now the tournament legal version, quote-unquote, until the latest version of the Shadow Thief, original Shadow Thief would remove all status effects from themselves when they ulted, therefore always able to regain shadows. It made it to where you couldn't, I think it made it to where you couldn't play sneak attack on your ult, and I could be wrong on that, but either way, the ultimate doesn't do that anymore on the re-rolled version, so you're not going to have 2 turns in a row of shadows unless you manage to remove that shadows by one of your extremely finite status effect hate cards.
Is it my turn?
Yes.
You're 5. Sell prayer upgrade.
Alright, so once again we enter that situation that might very well be the game deciding turn. So flopped a requital, but that's not enough. Do have a micro straight on the smallers there. Mighty Prayer would also not be enough. So probably gonna go for Righteous Combat or a straight. Ah, just remember the poison damage. Yeah. Yeah, looks like he's going for the Mighty Prayer. And has it on the second roll. So this will put the Shadow Thief at the point where even a Shadow Dance could kill them from the
No, I
Retribution.
didn't hear you. I'm sorry. I heard something. But...
I'm activating Mighty Prayer.
Gotcha.
That's 3 damage.
Yeah, it's undefendable.
So I don't know if the Shadow Thief has Enter the Shadows.
Shadows.
Okay. So
if you add the other thing to it, I'll die.
yeah, if you want to be able to do
Oh,
anything.
you can't add it's undefendable. You can't?
You have to deal at least 5.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, well then I don't need to do that. I can just take the 3.
Ah, okay.
I'm sorry. I don't play Paladin like ever.
Yeah, Shadow Thief
But that puts
didn't
me
recall that Paladin needs the base damage from the board. You can't add to it and then play crit, but crit specifically says your board has to have locked in 5 damage
Are you passing back to me?
to be able to play the crit to add 4 damage on top of it.
Fantasy Peerage puts me at 8.
Um,
Draw a card.
And yeah, this is an example of that colloquial nature there. Like, you know, if you're playing Magic the Gathering in a tournament, it wouldn't it wouldn't surprise me in the least for the opponent to say, well, too bad you didn't know that. You played it, you know, like can't take that back. And not to say that that's like vindictive or unkindly competitive. That's just sort of the nature of the communities, the games themselves. Like there's this vibe in Magic the Gathering that it's like what you said happens. Like, so do not speak until you are for sure of the course of action you're taking. And I've seen it in Yu-Gi-Oh as well. But Dice Throne, like, and there's a tournament, you know, I mean, by all means, it's not like it's a tournament for thousands of dollars or anything, but, you know, this is like where the most competitive spirit of this game comes to have fun in its capacity. And, like, what occurred? Like, they like, oh, I didn't realize that, so, can I take that action back? Yeah, sure, go ahead. Like, that's what I love about this game. Like, we have a beautiful paradox on our hands of this game is absolutely able to be number crunchy, highly competitive, analytical, and at the same time colloquial and friendly. Like, oh yeah, you didn't know that? No, take that action back. You didn't know that. Like, I love that. Like, what other game has that in its tournament circuit?
To get rid of my...
It might be an attack? No, not. It's pure damage and attack. No, I don't.
It's pure damage, I don't know.
Yeah, pure damage is an attack. In fact, a retribution after being attacked as a result. So yes, pure damage is one. Collateral would not work. Retribution would not work on collateral damage, but pure damage is an attack. Whether or not they come to that conclusion, I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Yeah, pure just cannot be modified in any way, but it is an attack.
Twice as well. Changed 1, 6. And then I'll retribution to deal 2 back.
Okay.
Oh man, what a funny play! Like, but it's smart though. It's pretty clever.
So
change your opponent's dice on that attack to.
I just wasn't sure because I know I'm not allowed to add sneak attacks to pure damage.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is perfectly legal play. And you know they might be looking it up or what have you to confirm that, but yeah, you can absolutely play Retribution on a pure damage offensive ability. It is an attack. So yeah, looks like that was GG. Paladin wins with 25 health, and I don't believe there were any ults on either side, but you know they can confirm that. So yeah, good game both. Hope to see you in future games in just a moment.
Late in that game, like really good. It got to the point where I was once like before the game got canceled, like
Okay.
right
I'm not
before.
sure if
I
they
was
just
actually
wrapped up a
talking to
game or about to
Koshiro,
just
and
start
like in
one.
their
Looks like they
website
might
for
have
it, they
wrapped
had
one
like
up
deck
considering they're
lists,
not
and
proactively
I was
setting up.
actually like going to like write an article for a couple of deck build ideas that they were gonna publish in the website because it's like I was really good at deck building. Like, have you ever played Magic?
A little bit. I've dabbled in it.
So green is not like offensive at all. And I had yellow either because it's like defense heavy and green is a mana pool.
Yeah, I think they were
I
waiting for the
built
other
a
games. It
deck
looks
that's
like
structured around one specific creature, but it was a combo heavy deck. And with that deck, in one turn, like you could not attack your opponent at all. You decided not to attack them, but then like when you had everything set up with one single yellow creature, you could take out like all of the opponent's like field, all of their barriers, all of their forts, all in one turn with that one creature.
You had 6 health left, right?
ah,
Yes, sir.
okay.
I just reviewed the results.
Hey guys,
No,
pardon the unmuting here. The other game just finished as well, and I was popping over, but it looks like y'all have already finished.
Yeah, we just.
Sir.
Right on. Okay, I'll mute again and stick around for other games to start up.
Paladin versus Barbarian, so it's pretty quick.
Right, fair enough. Who won?
Barbarian. I mean Paladin. I had 1 health left.
Yeah, Paladin's undefeated so far. Paladin won against the Shadow Thief just now as well.
All right.
Oh wow.
So,
So,
alrighty. Okay.
all right. So
Good luck, future games. Going back to mute.
Thank you. Alright, so I go to the general chat to check who I play with next.
Okay.
uh,
did not get that far in that tournament.
Oh, okay.
But I was in it.
Yeah. So do you
All right.
You know
Sorry.
who you're banning? You're good. You're good.
Which characters do you... Oh, you have Huntress and Barbarian?
Huntress and Barbarian. Yep. I
Okay,
went
let
for
me
the-
go grab a character to ban.
Alrighty. Yeah, I wasn't
I
sure.
don't know. I have my uncle's characters. I don't know if he has the promo cards or not in here. He does somewhere. I don't know where though. So I'm just gonna hold up the character.
You're good.
Oh wait, I grabbed Lorian though. Hold on.
I got
Sorry.
mine. Yeah, you're good. I got mine under my dice tray.
Okay.
Who I'm banning.
Alrighty, so this game will be the I believe
I'm ready.
losers bracket. It's a double elimination.
So,
I'm banning Shadow Thief.
okay, I'm gonna ban.
All right, so we're gonna have a Huntress versus. I'm not sure actually.
Alright, no fun for me this time. I'm just kidding.
We'll see how I do. I have not played Cursed Pirate all that much.
Curse. Oh man, I actually have an amusingly high amount of experience with this matchup. I've played as pirate a lot because I am absolutely beholden to the meta, and
Last round I did terrible.
pirate is absolutely arguably in the strongest
I'm just gonna do what I was doing last
choices.
round. I'm just gonna, when I roll, just put it on top of my board.
by all means. It's impossible to balance an asymmetrical game perfectly, but this game did its level best, and I do appreciate that. That I would say even the worst matchup is probably like, let's say like 45-55% on the win ratio, maybe like 43-57. But they tried their best to not get it to like 40 or 60 or anything bad like that, or worse than that. And I have absolutely lost against a Huntress as a pirate. Like, Huntress stresses me out. I'll be real with you. That ability to, if the cat's up, to always have a damage soak that can't really be gotten around in any way, shape, or form. With regular attacks anyway. Collateral damage does get by Naira. Sorry, she's pronounced Nira. I want to say Naira because I think Naira sounds cooler, but Nira is correct.
I would have banned him as well. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure.
I'm gonna grab Huntress and Pirate myself.
I think I got it all out now.
No lose cards.
Yeah. She had some good ones too.
So yeah, strategies for these two, if I had to guess.
Play Tree Ant.
Huntress will probably want to bleed out Pirate in more ways than one. Do undefendable damage, and not provide Cursed Pirate any additional opportunities to gain Cursed Doubloons. Force Pirate to flip early, and then go for those Feral Instincts, undefendable damages, things like that. Because then the Pirate's gonna bleed out 4 damage every turn. And that's on top of actually inflicting regular bleeds.
Camway, if I'm messing up, if I mess something up with Nira, you're welcome, or with Huntress, you're welcome to chime in.
What? Nah, man, all good. Like, I'm not a judge here. I'm just watching. I
Alright.
mean, unless both of y'all are like, heck yeah, that sounds amazing. I mean, you do you.
Yeah. That's what I mean, like, if we got a rules question with her.
Oh, right on. Okay, yeah. Feel free to just say, hey, Camwy, what do you think? And I will chime in. Otherwise, I am not saying a word.
Alright, sounds good. I mean, if that's cool with you, Grace.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, Rules OCD is happy to answer any and all questions, but I will also not offer them proactively. All
Yeah, no, you're good.
right, good luck. Have fun.
Thank you.
Alright, so you want me to cut? Or you're good?
We can cut it. Do you want to do half or?
Because, yeah, Huntress has some unique choices when it comes to what courses of action to take, when to declare them, things like that, when it comes to whether or not Naira is taking the damage or not. Obviously, once Huntress declares, I am rolling defense,
3 as well.
Naira can no longer be involved, so to speak.
1,
But whether or not Naira can, whether or not the Huntress can declare, I'm having Naira take the damage, or I'm spending the bond, or whether one excludes the other. That has been a debate of, there's been a point of contention, so to speak, back and forth. And I think the latest that I've heard officially anyway is that they're not mutually exclusive choices. I think Huntress can decide to bond after declaring Naira's taking damage. But it's at the point where I'm not even 100% on that. That may not actually be the case. But I believe that was the latest, like, answer from the higher-ups, so to speak, that I'd seen. So I think that's the correct answer. Alrighty. So starting with the defense upgrade on on Huntress is going to be huge. Curse Pirate's perfectly capable of doing undefendable damage, but only about half the time, really, even if proactively committing for it. So a defense upgrade is going to do wonders. Like, doing any and all quote-unquote undefendable damage possible is very handy against Pirate. And you can think of, you know, the defense clap back, so to speak, as undefendable damage. You know, they can't roll defense on it, obviously. So, yeah, I see Hunters going for Feral Instincts a lot, and relying on that in the defense roll to stick that undefendable and force Pirate to flip mid-game.
And then 6 damage, you said?
Yep, six defendable.
6
Okay,
defendable.
so yeah.
Gotcha.
So,
So let me move my
here we've got that fun moment where the Pirate defense comes into play, and it can be extremely swingy.
4, 4, 1, 6. So that's gain 2 CP, deal 1, prevent 2. So I'm taking 4, dealing 1, gaining 2 CP.
So yeah, I mean, that's a Samurai defense roll on steroids. It's Samurai and Paladin at the same time. Like, gained a couple CP, did some damage, prevented some damage. Rolling defense on Pirate feels so good.
4, which
All right.
is 1 through 4 is take it, right?
Yeah, so bleeds are sort of half poisons. They, you know, if you roll a 5 or 6, the bleed just goes away. But if you roll a 1 through a 4, it stays and you take a damage.
I play as the Vampire Lord sometimes, so I was like, I think I know it, but I'm not 100.
Yeah.
Gain a CP to 5. Card. Getting paid. Puts me at 7 CP.
All right, and Pirate's already starting out pretty wealthy here, so yeah, this will be a good one. We got a defense upgrade on the Huntress. Got plenty of CP for the Pirate to play with, and never any upgrades to worry about. So we could see Powder Kegs chained. We could see.
I got 1, 3, 3, 3. 1, 3, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, with
I
the
don't
3,
know
4,
for one as
5,
well as Shadow Thief, so I'm
chasing
not
a straight's perfectly legit. A couple of chests means you could also go for X marks the spot.
I'm gonna hold on to 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
And reroll.
So yeah, looks like we're chasing straight. It could turn into a walk the plank as well,
3, 6.
which it did there.
So
But do have the small straight.
I'm gonna do walk the plank. I've got 3, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yep.
And that's where you can make your opponent discard a card of their choice or steal 1 CP, and you choose pretty much right after you lock in the ability.
Alright, I only got 1, so.
Sweet. Okay, and then deal 7
Alright,
damage.
chose the discard, and it was a So Wild, so that was a pretty powerful choice. I usually opt for the stealing of CP. It feels nice to deny resources while gaining resources at the same time. But when they're down to only 1 card or so, the odds are decent it's a valuable card, so it's a perfectly legit strat to do that too.
And actually 5 back. Because my hero's active. And then you were dealing 7, right?
And I expect once Marvel comes out and people play against Scarlet Witch, people are going to be holding on to spare cards constantly against her to prevent her from conjuring your really good status effects.
This card.
Yep.
Which puts me at 4 CP.
So yeah, Feed the Fish is very expensive and more of a multiplayer-oriented card. It's 3 CP to inflict 1 Powder Keg, which could be 3 damage on the opponent.
6.
It can certainly be a late-game closer, especially against a low-health Huntress with a Naira up. But otherwise, yeah, perfectly legit sell. Oh, and it looks like a 6 was rolled on the Powder Keg, so it came right back to the Cursed Pirate. That's the risk she has, unfortunately. What's up, bro? My dog Broly's looking at me like, hey, Dad, could you maybe do other things? I'm like, sorry, buddy. Hi, buddy.
predatory advance. So
I haven't-
heal, huh?
I have a question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
So on your thing it says if Naira is active in your offensive roll phase results in an attack increased by 2.
Yeah.
So do you have something on your defense that says it adds 2 for Naira too?
What's that?
Oh, because of 6. Okay, I just wasn't sure what your board said. I should have just looked myself. I was just curious.
Oh,
But you're good.
are you questioning why you took 6?
Yeah, because you rolled a 6. I see it now. I was just curious.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I answered my own question. My bad.
Yeah, no, you're good. So I'm doing predatory advance.
Okay.
Heal Nira for 1, and I'm gonna deal 5 plus the 2 since she's active for 7.
Yep. 7. Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
Defendable.
Yep. So roll the 4. Okay. So preventing 4 because I have 2 6s. Dealing 1 and gaining a CP. So I'm taking 3, dealing
Okay.
1, and gaining a CP.
So yeah, Pirate doesn't gain a doubloon from that. You need 2 swords and a 6 to get a doubloon. So
So I'm at
the defense has not
37.
resulted in any doubloons yet, to my knowledge.
Gotcha.
Um,
Okay, so roll for this.
maybe
bleed
it was supposed
first.
to the first time. I forget. Or maybe it did the first time and I didn't pay
6.
attention.
And I have to roll for the parlay. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
wow.
6.
That powder keg is absolutely a hot potato grenade right now. So this gives Cursed Pirate the opportunity to chain some powder kegs during the ORP here and really make a lot of damage stick. I do find Cursed Pirate to be a little cruel against the Huntress in that a lot of her base damage is 7 or 8, and that means that Naira
2, 2,
cannot
6.
take the hit and survive without a bond being played, without a bonded soul.
I'm gonna hold on to
Naira's
my
Bond, I
6s.
apologize, without a Naira's Bond being played. So it's right on that cusp of, do you let the cat get down or not? Which can be quite frustrating for the Huntress player.
So I'll do X marks the spot.
Go ahead.
Okay, that's a good opportunity for undefendable damage and maybe getting some doubloons to keep
3.
the curse at bay. Alright, looks like it's just going to be 4 and a card,
So it's
though.
4 undefendable.
Man, the card draw is also quite strong.
4.
So
Wait, hold on.
the only frustrating thing about X marks the spot is that the damage might be negligible or not at all, especially if you have something like Shame or Withers on yourself. X marks the spot can be a very anemic attack, but its resource draw cannot be denied. It's pretty good.
I'm gonna have my Nero take the 4. Alright.
Do what?
I'm gonna have my cat take the
Oh,
4.
have cat take the 4. Okay, and I can draw a card.
Yeah, Nero's the
That's
cat.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so at this point, if
Okay, I was just making
if Cursed Pirate had like an attack modifier to play, all that damage would go to Naira and might be able to knock Naira down.
I'm gonna inflict parlay on my second main,
Oh, okay.
which will put me at 4 CP.
Yeah, Parlay, one of the strongest negative status effects by far. I sometimes undervalue it because I feel like it always draws the ire of the opponent's status effect hate cards. You know, your classic 4, your get out of here, bye-bye, transference, and what status effects. You know, so 1 or 2 CP and your opponent gets to go again. It feels like it's a knockdown,
4, so it does nothing, right?
and knockdown can always be afforded usually. So I sort of undervalue Parlay, but it's hard to deny that, you know, forcing your opponent to not be able to do any damage in one turn if they can't get rid of it is very nice. So yeah, see, we got 37 health here. Hunter's at 41 with a moderately low health cat. Yeah, pretty even game so far. Cursed Pirate's starting to look a little low on the doubloons. Might be able to get some defense rolls, or even there's one card, Pirate's Light, that gives
I'm gonna play get that
a
out
curse, doubloon.
and remove the parlay.
So yeah, there it is. Like, I love Parlay, but I feel like it can't do its job until maybe your second or third one. Because all the other status effects, though very strong on their own, they're not going to draw the ire of the status effect hate cards quite like a Parlay will.
Alright, I'm gonna do Feral Instincts.
In early game especially, the odds of an opponent having one status effect hate card in their hand
Okay.
is pretty high. Because, you know, on average they've seen about 5, 6, maybe 7 cards. So one of them being one of them of their 32 or so card deck.
Gain a CP.
Pretty decent odds.
5, draw a card. gonna go ahead and roll. 3, 4, 4,
Alright.
6, 6.
So, flopping a walk the plank, which I overvalue probably. I probably lock that one in more than I should. Just, I enjoy what it does. Stealing stuff or, doing negative things to the opponent on top of then doing pretty high base damage.
I'm gonna hold on
The
to
only
my
rub of it
sixes
is
so
that
I
you
can
don't get any
anything to go with it.
Yep.
doubloons ever. But yeah, the Siren Song of a pair of sixes, also perfectly legit.
5, 2.
Okay, so second roll resulted in basically the same as the first. Gotta walk the plank. Got a micro straight, but it's not open-ended, so that's not too helpful. And a pair of sixes can absolutely
I'm just gonna
be one of the very
walk
few things that
the
result
inside.
in a whiff for the pirates. You got to be careful around that.
So discard
Like
a
two
card of your
sixes,
choice,
2 swords, and a
and
chest.
7 damage.
It's one of the few ways that a pirate can whiff, but she absolutely can on that. I've done it before, more than once.
I'm gonna discard what status effects.
Okay.
And then do it 7.
Yep.
Alright, roll my
All right, so that's the second status effect hate card from
Heal Nira.
Huntress that's either been played or discarded, so pirate can feel a little more comfortable in trying to do some parlays or chaining powder kegs.
4 back.
Okay.
That's a big piece of advice I've gotten from Slip. He's a competitive Australian player and
then
coach.
On my
Um,
second main,
We kind of call him the Dice Throne Guru among the community.
so that I'll still have one.
Okay, so yeah, there's the pirate's life. So from here on out, it's purely
It's your turn.
Draw.
the board of the pirate that's gonna gain
Let me roll the
doubloons.
okay. 5. So nothing.
Yep.
Alright. Roll. I'm just going and gonna take that. I'm gonna trade in my Nira's bond first to heal my cat for 2.
Okay.
Then I'm going to gain a Nira's bond and deal 4 if all that goes through, unless you want to
Yeah.
mess with that.
That's good.
So 4
95.
undefendable. Yep.
25. I said 95.
Yeah.
I wish. Okay.
And yep, that's it. Your turn.
Yep. Gain a CP will put me at 5. Draw a card. I'm just gonna use my cursed cards as 1 card. I don't want to mess with all that.
Hmm. Yeah, another Dice Throne player and active community member, Assassinator is his username. He posited we were thought experimenting once. Since damage always accumulates at the end of a turn, or sorry, the end of the phase that the damage occurred in,
Alright.
since pirate can inflict multiple damages to herself on the same main phase, if she had an evasive that was stolen from someone with evasive, could she play that from one card that would give herself damage, and then play another one that would give herself damage, and that would technically avoid all of it? AKA, could you use an evasive to
Nira goes to 2 health.
play that card that you hurt yourself for 1, I think it's called Scurvy, then inflicts a wither on your opponent, see that your evasive worked, and go, haha, I'm now going to play curse cards for its maximum value, draw 3 cards for 4 damage, and I avoid the 4 damage also.
So that blows up, right?
Technically, the damage accumulating at the end of a phase is only mentioned in the rulebook for the upkeep phase and the roll phases, but we've all sort of accepted that that's universally true of Dice Throne, unless damage specifically says it is immediate source of isolated damage.
6, 6, and
It accumulates and you take it all at the end of a turn. So it's been a fun question, a fairly pointless question, because it's so niche. But that's what we tournament players like to do. We like to overthink and come up with niche situations.
that hits, inflicting 2 bleed and dealing 9.
All right, so we've had pretty powerful, consistent hits from the Huntress, which,
That was my 3rd roll.
considering that her low damage is usually
It's defendable.
a big hindrance of her, has been very impressive. This has been very strong play by the Huntress player, but the consistent ability to roll defense rolls for the Pirate has also really helped keep in the game.
Got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm taking 9, dealing 3, and gaining a CP.
Alright.
Yeah, it's still no doubloons from the defense roll there, so it's starting to look a little shy.
I'm gonna go ahead and play transference for 2 CP. Transfer this powder keg onto you.
Okay.
Alright, so a lot of negative status effects to resolve at the upkeep of Pirate here.
So roll for 1 bleed. Guess I put this in.
Rolling one at a time, which you should technically do.
Okay, 5. So get rid of 1. Roll for the other one real quick.
That was the bleeds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so both bleeds are gone. See, that's the sad thing about bleed. As Gavin himself put it,
Yeah.
bleeds aren't a problem until they are.
Powder keg. 6.
Alright, so came out of all of that mess relatively unscathed, but the powder keg does remain on the Cursed Pirate board.
Gain a CP and a card. Okay, I'm gonna give you powder keg back.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, this is another one that I've actually been advised by Slip.
No, it's light it up.
He recommended don't play your inflict powder keg cards on the opponent until they already have one. Like, you know, aka maybe wait till after your offensive roll phase and play that main phase too.
2, 4, 4.
One, it saves your CP if you're low on it for dice hate cards or dice modifying cards if you need. And 2, you then know that you're chaining them and have better odds of more powder kegs doing more damage. Because you never know, the upkeep of the Huntress might result in a 6, and you get that keg you just spent your resources on giving.
Yep.
Which immediately would still happen if you locked in a small straight, inflicted a keg, and then inflicted another keg. But at least then you forced one to blow up, so you force some of the positive results that you're hoping for when it comes to powder kegs.
Then it's 9 damage. And I'm gonna add
I'm hoping for run you through here.
this.
Yeah, such a strong attack modifier. This could add 5 damage in a keg, so it could basically add 8 damage. But it requires on how many swords are rolled. And you want at least 3. 3 guarantees a
So I'm
keg.
doing 10.
All right. I'm just having my cat take it all.
Yeah, it looks like I only added 1, unfortunately. I've had that card let me down before, sometimes in a game deciding sense of the word. Breaks your heart. Breaks your little pirate heart.
Right. Heal. Nero 1.
Alright, so we have a downed kitty mid-game, so
4.
now is absolutely the time for the pirate to go ham.
1 CP.
I forget what the doubloon situation was. That doubloon might be supposed to be removed. I'm not sure.
Roll. So I'm gonna take that.
So if that is the case, the pirate's very close to flipping,
Actually,
which at this low health is not what you want.
Okay.
So I'm dealing 4 and rolling 1.
Okay.
That I'm dealing 5 defendable.
5 defendable.
And so it looks like locked in a savage. Maybe hoping for a non-respawn to speed up the pickup of the cat.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I can
Um,
just interrupt to do that real quick.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was the last doubloon. So Pirate's probably hoping for a 6 and a couple of swords, which doesn't quite get.
Dealing 1 back. So I'm taking 3,
So-
dealing 1, and gaining 2 CP.
I mean, perfectly strong defense roll. 2 CP, 2 damage prevented, 1 damage returned. But this turn, if the pirate doesn't want to flip, and considering the health bar situation, probably doesn't want to,
So let me do my...
needs to, especially this keg goes off, which it does not. It just sits there menacingly. I'd say the pirate really needs to generate some doubloons here. Which would be a very specific type of X marks the spot roll, or a mini ult or a regular ultimate.
1, 3, 3, 5, 5. I'm gonna keep a 5 and reroll the rest.
Okay.
That's 1, 1, 2, 6.
Yeah, not looking too hot for the second roll here. It's hard to... This is a tough one to determine what you want to stick with.
6 and reroll these 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there it is. There's that one whiff that can happen with the pirate. 2 6s, 2 chests, and a sword. And it... Oh wait, no, I take that back. This is a walk the plank. It would have to be 2 swords to be a whiff, not 2 chests. So that is a walk the plank, but that means the pirate's definitely gonna flip. And with a potential 7 automatic damage coming at the Cursed Pirate, 4 guaranteed from the curse, 3 possibly from the powder keg. This is a very dangerous situation. Fortunately, the Huntress does not have Naira up and doesn't look like she
I
could.
have 3 cards in hand.
Yeah, so-
And 1 CP.
Yeah, so I'll have you discard a card and I'll deal 7 damage.
So it looks like the Curse Pirate is definitely going to flip this turn.
Discard Tibet. And I'm gonna roll my defense. So,
Okay, fortunately the defense can only do 1 damage back. Well, maybe 2. I forget if the upgrade is defense 2 or defense 3. If it's 3, I think maybe multiple spears can hurt, but I think it's only on.
Alright. And I was taking 7, so I'm down to 19.
And then I have to flip, so that's a problem for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. I mean, with the pirate board as it lies right now,
Alright, my turn.
Hunters may only need to do 1 damage, and the keg and the curse will take care of the rest. So this is a pretty precarious situation for pirate. Fortunately, the cat isn't up, so base damage will be lower.
16? Okay.
And 5 defense dice for the pirate is very good. But gotta hope that that keg doesn't go off. And gotta hope that the Hunters can't pull out a really strong attack here. And considering the 6s are kept, second roll didn't get any more. But I'm thinking there's some dice mods coming out on this one. Oh, a natural mini ult on the 3rd roll. So yeah, that's definitely gonna be a manufactured ultimate. Even if the pirate's able to avoid 1 6,
I'm gonna do
the other one's probably still gonna lock in enough damage to kill her.
Alright. It was a 6.
And the reroll
Oh, it was a 6 again.
remains a 6. You hate to see it.
Awesome. Okay, well.
Or you love to see it. It depends upon who you are.
Alright.
Yeah, that's going to be game with the manufactured ult for the win. That was
Make sure that I know how to play the characters, because I'm.
Yeah.
that was a good game. There's a lot of back and forth
I
there.
was
So
like, I
yeah,
basically know how
congrats
to,
to the
play
Huntress
Timothy.
player for continuing.
And so.
And yeah,
I
we'll
just
see if
wanted
the
to
other
make
game's
sure-
still
I was
going.
like, I'm sure you were playing the Hunters correct with that rule. I just wanted to know what.
All right, looks like we have Paladin versus Pirate mid game, and looks like the Pirate is already flipped. I think the poisons must be Withers, if I had to guess. I would assume the Paladin player does not have the Season 2 box or the Curse Pirate Artificer box. So... Oh no, those... Oh yeah, maybe they're actually Cursed Doubloons rather than Withers.
I'm gonna use 2 CPs to use So Wild, and I'm gonna change that back to the 3. Well, to a 4.
Alright. Yeah, 3 6s for the Paladin is not anything useful.
P2.
That is nothing so far.
Prayer again? Or-
No. Because you don't have
No.
CP. Yeah.
Is double. Mm. Ugh. I think I've lightly been.
Okay. Fairly low CPs.
That's a what?
Alright. Is it my turn? Are you gonna do anything in your second main phase?
I don't know if you can hear me.
Oh no, I think it cut off for a second. Alright. And it's my turn. I take the 4 damage because of my passive,
Alright, so yeah, we have an
gain
absolute
CP.
race against the clock here.
and I draw a card.
Pirate's gonna have to do a lot of damage, and with Paladin having
I'm going to sell one more time.
crit and
I'm going
accuracy
to
available.
use Beaten Down for 4 CP. If I have any cards, I discard them, and then I draw cards.
I do enjoy batting
Extra
down. It's
4.
very situational, but being able to draw 4 cards is
Hmm,
absolutely game changing. but you had to have the spare CP to really be able to afford it, or draw a card that'll generate some CP. Like,
That's good.
it's a very feast or famine card. Like, if you're swimming in CP, low on cards, best card in the
I'm
world.
going to sell, try
But sometimes it's just a sell
for
because
one
you just
CP.
can't really generate
And
what
then
you
I'm
want
gonna
out of
use
it.
that same CP to use Scurvy, which makes me take 1 damage, and then I inflict Wither on an opponent. Do you know what Wither does?
Reduce damage by 1 persistent.
Yes.
Apparently, it's an attack modifier as of like 3 days ago.
Correct.
Okay, so yeah. Shame and Wither have both been recently confirmed by the creators to be attack modifiers, so they no longer affect pure or collateral damage. And that was a change from the original ruling,
Alright.
to my knowledge. So, yeah, I've been kind of spreading the word about that one.
I gain 2 CP, and then I roll 4 dice.
Alrighty, so maybe looking to inflict a third.
Alright, so that's
Curse
1 more
Doubloon.
Curse Doubloon and 6 undefendable damage.
That's probably about as good a roll as you could get out of that one.
And
Plenty of
then
undefendable.
I'll be using an attack modifier to add 2 more damage to that attack.
So,
So
8
that's 8
undefendable and a
undefendable
third
damage.
poison that you can't get rid of is very strong.
Sure.
At least I assume the poisons are cursed doubloons. That would make the most thematic sense to me.
Yeah, that will be my turn.
Sell Righteous Combat 3. Take 2 doubloon damage.
No, it's 3, because I inflicted a Curse of Bloom just now.
Third one?
Yeah.
So the cursed doubloons on the opponent nearly act as a complete equalizer with the Cursed Pirate's flipped passive that inflicts 4 on your upkeep. Since you can stack up to 3 on opponents, you taking 4 damage at the start of your turn, the opponent taking 3 damage at the start of their turn, but every one of your abilities, including your defense, is upgraded. If you can get that going very quickly after a Cursed Pirate flip, that is absolutely net gain. Thanks for streaming, can we? Absolutely, Mud Turtle. Happy to help, man. Thank you for entertaining this folly of me being a spectator rather than a player.
Alright, so that's 11 with the... Sorry?
10 because of will.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. So that is going to be 10 damage.
So yep, there it is. Just lock in an attack that's doing enough base damage.
Yeah,
Get that crit, get that accuracy. Pow! Like, make Cursed Pirate eat their words. Like, you want a short game timer? You got a short game timer. So yeah, it's looking like this might be the last turn of the pirate, or needs to be a very effective one to keep the paladin from killing them back. 14 damage is a lot to ask to generate. It can be done, but it requires some powder keg chaining, or maybe even an ultimate.
I roll 2 dice. If I gain a treasure chest, I draw 2 cards and gain 2. Nothing happens. Nothing happens.
Yeah, the gamble sometimes, you gotta know when to roll them, gotta know when to fold them. Can't really fold dice, but you know what I mean.
Slightly more CP than you get.
Okay, so with 0 CP and 1 card, this is desperation times for the pirate, it looks like.
Alright, let's roll this.
And after that third roll, just didn't quite get up there in time. Looks like it's a simple basic attack at best.
That's just 5 damage. That's all that is.
So, yeah, it looks like that was the Hail Mary of the pirate, and that gamble of the high stakes card not paying off. Looks like it sealed the fate with leaving it exclusively to the dice.
Maybe.
And naturally rolling an ultimate is about a 1% chance. It's pretty darn tough. I didn't even appreciate this, but Paladin's got the defense upgrade. That's probably been very powerful.
Possible for me to win this.
So I deal with 2 damage back.
Alright, so yeah, Paladin's got to lock in 1 successful damage and the game is over.
Yeah.
Admittedly with the Wither, that's slightly tough, but Mighty Prayer would do it, Retaliation would do it.
You take 3 damage.
A high enough base attack would probably do it, unless the Cursed Pirate rolled all 6s on defense. I'd say the game is pretty well the Paladins to lose at this point. It's probably over. Ooh, interesting. Played the 4 CP for all the goods, all the good status effects. So now that increases the attacks that the paladin can do that will guarantee death.
What status effect?
Because a base attack of 5 will allow you to crit. An accuracy will make it undefendable. So that'll all the above there will go right over a not this time if the pirate hasn't played that yet. Pirate can't afford not this time anyway, so looking pretty rough.
How many cards are in your hand?
I have 1 card in my hand.
So yeah, with 1 card and 0 CP, about the only thing that Pirate could play that would maybe have an effect would be better D, but Paladin's gonna go right over that defense roll if it's even applicable with the accuracy
You played
status
Not this
effect.
time?
I don't remember. I don't think I have.
So yeah,
no-
Paladin
I
player's
did.
paranoid about the not this time, but it costs 1 CP, so even if, and yeah, it was in the graveyard, but even if not this time was in Cursed Pirate's hand, with the lack of defense roll to generate any CP, there was nearly nothing that the Paladin can roll that can't avoid Cursed Pirate's defense at this point. So
All the way down. Cuando salgas, bajarla. I see you, man. Sorry, my roommate was heading out.
Gonna deal on
Sorry? Oh, the 2 undefendable damage?
yeah.
Ah, that is a very wise choice, my friend, and that is game. Because once
Yeah.
I go
yep, that'll do it. The
my,
undefendable goes right through, and then the
into my upkeep,
wither
I'm gonna
of
lose
the
because of
flipped
4 damage.
Cursed Pirate passive seals the deal. So yep,
Good game, sir.
Paladin remains undefeated in this tournament so far, and our top 500 is the undefeated one as well. So yeah, good games both.
I was kind of trying to get that out of you quick so you didn't have to put it.
Okay, so yeah, it does look like the losers finals is how the bracket is shaking out here. So looks like it's going to be Cursed Pirate versus Huntress. So the revenge or the reckoning again. We will find out shortly. But yeah, this matchup is so funny because plenty of people consider Huntress to be quote unquote low tier. But there have absolutely been strategy guides optimizing Huntress for tournament play with a solid win rate. So, you know,
let's roll to see who
again,
starts.
this game is tough to balance. Asymmetrical dueling game, but they managed to do it.
Yeah.
Like,
I got a 1.
this is anybody's game, and that's what I love about this. Doesn't matter who's playing what. So,
No.
it's
I
a
like
matchup
it.
I'm
It's
familiar
just
with.
in general, and with her specifically.
I'm curious if it'll shake out the same way as the
pre.
previous, or if it's going to be a little different.
It's just a general, man, no draw, no CP.
Yeah, I'm conflicted on what's better going first.
Yeah, I think it's very circumstantial, depending both on your character matchups.
Yeah, going
I think
first
Barbarian
is definitely
goes
arguable
first.
when you want to do it. Pyromancer always wants to go
100%.
first. That's simple enough. But as far as for
Barbarian
others,
don't need no CP.
nah,
Barbarian just
kind of unique
snaps.
case to case. But
With my monk,
you know,
second.
to be cruel with the numbers, you know, or maybe relying on them too much. In tournaments, I think the last time I saw a statistic on it is that the player who goes first wins 5% more often.
Okay.
Significant enough to always want to go first, I
Anyone to
suppose.
Start off by using double up.
All right. So yeah, Pirates going first, and
Round two.
getting that card draw. We got a game. Good luck to both.
All right. Woo. Nah, I wasn't gonna keep it. I'm not gonna be that guy. Woo. Okay.
That is a whole bunch of chests. He's like, nope, too boring. Picking them up again.
Yeah, reroll everything.
Third roll, rerolling everything.
I'm going to use one more time. And I'm gonna reroll the 3 and the 2 2s. Dang.
Okay, looks
Sucks.
like the pirate was going for an early flip there. Didn't quite get it.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna deal 5 damage, I guess.
Alright.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that strategy. If you want to go aggro with the pirate, roll for,
Alright, I'm gonna roll my
I think it's Shiver Me Timbers on the bottom right of the board there. It allows you to remove all the doubloons from yourself that you want when you activate it, and allows you to flip turn 1.
Right.
So
and
I think a
then
very highly aggressive pirate is who
I'm
it is that
going
we've
to
got on this
sell
one.
Crow's Nest to gain a CP.
Okay.
And that is it.
Yeah, I tend to play a much more passive pirate where I never want to flip. I have proactively flipped early once. I think it was against an artificer. But I've definitely heard strategies involving both.
And you were good with me keeping that, right?
Yes, sir.
Alright.
Alright, we got a natural miniature ultimate after roll 2 here.
No, sir.
Okay. Surgeon's card, see if he's got a dice mod.
Oh,
Pretty slim mods the Cursed Pirate does.
Yeah, okay.
That's try again.
Alright, so 2 more rolls here, looking for a 6th of a chance. Okay, doesn't quite get it.
So that's a feral.
Okay, so the
Wait,
mini ult is
I'm
locked in,
going
which
to use
is undefendable. It's what you want against that pirate.
So you either pay me 2 CPs, or you have to reroll one of the 6s.
I'll reroll.
Alright?
So on that, I'm gonna twice as wild.
Oh,
Yo.
man, I thought you had a so wild.
Man, to lock in the mini ult and force out the
Yeah.
dice hate cards from the opponent, because Cursed Pirate does have an additional one compared to most players.
So, I'm assuming
Wow, what a slow roll. What a great play.
So Nira's bond, like 2 bleed.
And Huntress's ult hits so hard, which is like her only real weakness. She doesn't do that much
Yeah,
base
that's pretty
damage.
much almost GG.
Ultimates ain't care. Man, what a strong start. Man, everything went wrong for the Cursed Pirate the first turn for them, and everything went right for the Huntress on theirs. This is going to be an absolute uphill battle for the Cursed Pirate.
You never know, though.
May need to switch tactics here and start
Crappy rolls.
playing more passively and
Yeah, that's true.
not go for the flip
so,
anymore.
Gain a CP, draw a card,
That's up to them, though. I'm not sure if that's necessarily the best course of action,
go
but
straight to rolling.
I wouldn't be surprised if they consider it.
That's not what I want. Reroll everything, and reroll everything again. Are you kidding me?
Got another one.
Now it's just 6 damage.
Okay.
All right. Yep, not deterred by that ultimate, still going for very strong, deliberate rolls here. I believe still trying to probably go for Shiver Me Timbers.
On
But
that.
considering the early success of the Huntress here, I'm not sure that's going to be tenable. But the Cursed Pirate does not live for tomorrow, they live for today, so nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Alright, yeah, it's your turn.
Oh, did you ever roll the bleeds?
Oh no, I didn't realize I had to the 2 bleeds, my bad. So 4/4, that's 2 more damage.
Alright, I'm gonna draw. I'm gonna gain a CP and sell Onslaught 2.
It's a whole lot more 5s than you typically need.
Keep a 5 and reroll.
Okay, yeah, looking for that undefendable, I think, with the Feral Instincts there.
And roll.
Whole bunch of claws, but they're not really doing any good.
The 5 to a 6.
Okay.
And then
Yeah, and that's just what Huntress has to do sometimes. Her board does not lend itself for chasing whatever you want and being able to fall back on anything, so sometimes you just have to spend those dice mod cards just to get out of your offensive roll phase unscathed.
Alright, go over here. Alright, so I prevent 2, that's 5, I gain a CP, and I deal 2 back.
Okay, the pirate does have the option to gain a doubloon here as well with rolling 1, 6, and 2 swords.
And your turn.
Considering their playstyle, I don't think they're going to take it, because that is an option as well. The pirate can always choose not to gain doubloons when it says to gain
Oh, I
them.
forgot to take this last turn.
Okay.
I'm gonna use Vegas, baby. That's 2 CP. Let's roll. Alright, I'm gonna use Walk the Plank. I'm gonna choose to steal a CP and deal 7 damage.
Okay.
And then I will use an attack modifier
Yep.
to make that 9 damage.
Okay, playing Shark Bait, which is a simple +2 damage. So, could use Naira's Bond to split the damage, could let the kitty take all of it.
Dies.
Because with Naira's Bond there, could get another Naira's
And
next
I'm going
turn.
to use it in my second main phase, light it up. I'm gonna inflict powder keg.
Okay, yeah, so,
Okay.
I'll put the...
alright.
You got it there?
Again, a pro strat that Slip mentioned to me that I've always tried to keep in mind ever since.
Alright, awesome. And
With
then
powder
I use
kegs,
4.
I don't really
Use
recommend, he
bang
especially does
down.
not really
So if I
recommend
have
playing
two
cards that
discard them all,
inflict them
And then I draw 4.
until they already have a keg. So at the very least, you're guaranteeing some keg explosions. Lock in that damage, because the opponent could roll a 6 right now, give that keg back to you. Then you spent a whole lot of resources just to smack yourself for
Alright,
3.
It's your turn.
No one wants
I'm
that.
gonna spend my bond to heal Nira too before your turn ends.
But you never know, they could roll a 1 or 2 and it'd have done its job perfectly well.
She's up to 3.
Yep.
Got the
Yeah.
card.
Speaking of, probably gonna remember any moment now. Oh yeah, I need to roll for the keg.
Did you roll your bleeds last turn?
No.
Okay.
That's 6 and 4, so I remove 1 and I take 1.
Let me roll my
Let
powder.
me...
Alright, powder keg
Before you
is...
continue,
See,
let me
powder
go
keg's a
get-
6.
So I don't keep forgetting. Let me go get my Huntress so I can put the status.
Just so I already read. I rolled the powder keg.
Yep, side.
Yeah,
Okay.
so yeah, that's the bugger. Like, do not play those unless you're chaining them together so you're exploding previous ones. Because, you know, you can only stack limit of 1, and they're unique in that if another is applied, the first, instead of, you know, remaining in the second one be null, the first one immediately blows up for 3
Eventually
damage.
you get my cursed pirate.
So, don't play those cards unless the opponent at least has a keg on them. Like, demand that they give you bang for your buck. Pun intended.
Alright.
Gonna go to my roll phase.
Yeah. Have a bleed.
Ooh, the natural sixes have been devastating for Huntress today. Or devastating to Huntress's opponents today.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You
Pirate.
when you had the powder keg, you rolled a 6, right?
Yeah, I did. So
Yeah.
it's on you. This is tempting. Got 3 6s, a 4, and a 2.
Yeah, not everyone is able to do this because you may not have all the heroes, and that's fine. You don't have to have all the heroes to play in these tournaments typically. But something a lot of people will do is they'll set up their opponent's character on like their side table, so to speak, and as they play upgrades or as they play things or even as they play cards, sometimes they'll play their board state on their end as well, so they can keep everything straight, remind themselves what the opponent has access to as far as, you know, what would be best to tip it or things like that, or to be able to see more clearly what exactly their attacks or their status effects do, things like that. So not necessary, you know, you can absolutely carry on without doing that, but as far as, you know, to use some, you know, Sun Tzu, the Art of War, you know, like mantras here, knowing your opponent is very valuable information when it comes to winning war.
Powder keg first. I don't know if you can see it. 5.
Alright.
Yeah. So that stays and then bleed. That is 1 damage.
Alright.
Alright, so
Use triple up.
Pirate does not have any doubloons here, and
Okay.
But
I wouldn't be surprised if none are
Right.
proactively gained, because one has already
Alright, so I'm gonna
been
use pillage,
foregone
so
before, I
steal this CP
believe.
From you.
Alright, so unless the 2 cards that Huntress has are both getting paid and,
I'm going to sell.
you know, a dice hate
Better
card, this turn is most likely free damage for the Pirate because Naira is down. So this is a turn that you absolutely want to hit hard with. Can't hit as hard as possible, unfortunately, because there's not a flipped Cursed Pirate, but just sold a Tippet for a 3rd CP. That screams twice as wild as in the hand, and keeping a 6, we are going for broke here. Unfortunately, the 6s are just not agreeing with the Cursed Pirate player today. Alright, so we did get 1 out of it. Can't see the 5th die there, but I assume it's not a 6, considering their
How many
hesitation.
cards do you have in your hand?
I got 2.
2.
Yeah, with 3 CP, you can only really manufacture a mini ult, probably.
Man. Ooh, actually, I'm going to use twice as wild. And I'm going to use black spot, unless you're going to change that. That will be gain a Cursed Doubloon, inflict parlay, and 7 undefendable damage.
Okay. Yep. That's good.
Right.
So I'll take 7.
I'm actually not going to gain the Cursed Doubloon,
Okay, yeah, I didn't figure.
so...
So yeah, hoping that parlay pays dividends to keep the Huntress from attacking next turn. Or
Yeah, I
from
won't,
doing
I
any
won't.
damage from an attack, that is.
No.
That question gets asked a lot. So the flipped Cursed Pirate, the passive says, if your opponent does not do an attack, does not lock in an attack from their offensive roll phase, inflict a keg. It's not quite what it says, it's paraphrasing. So a lot of people say, or ask the question, if I have parlay on me, even if I lock in an attack, do I still get a keg? And the answer is no, you do not. You did lock in an attack, parlay just turned that attack into 0 damage and no defense roll is made. But you did lock in an attack, you do not get a powder keg. So Pirate doesn't get to double dip. They don't get to parlay you and give you a keg for the sake of it. But it's got to be an attack, though. If you lock in an ability that's only collateral damage, that's not an attack, you do get a keg. Alright, looks like we got a small straight option from the Huntress here. And Naira is active again, so
And I'm gonna be dealing.
Pirate's got a lot of damage she's going to have to get through. Which probably means at least 2 more turns, and that's an automatic self-8 damage. So Huntress really only needs to generate 13 damage to stick in 2 turns, and the game would be hers.
Your turn.
Alright. Okay, so let me roll for the 2 bleeds.
But that's reading ahead. You never know what the board state's going to look like after even
And
1
the
turn.
4 of my passive. That was still a good choice, because remember that if not, you were going to get party cake if you use, like, Naira's Bond or something. I mean, the one that gives you just healing stuff.
Alright, so yeah, the
And then let me roll for
parlay
the
did prevent, but a bleed was still inflicted.
That's nothing. Gain a CP. Draw a card.
So yeah, at this point, I would say Huntress could probably just Feral Instinct her way to victory, or maybe do that for 1 turn, and then lock in a high damage on the other. Pirate's gonna definitely have to have some very killer rolls here. But considering that Huntress did not remove the parlay last turn, perhaps could manage to chain some parlays here. Maybe that would, Ooh, look at that! A natural mini ult on the second roll. Okay, not quite, but instant, like, paying for the ultimate.
Use the wild.
Does
That's ult.
the Huntress have a Dice Hate card? She
And
does, a helping hand, but that's still a 1/6 in the chance to eat an ult.
Alright, so it's still Black Soul.
Okay, locking in the mini ult, which does give a parlay, so the chained parlays from Cursed Pirate might be that narrow path to victory. As the mantra is, man, when in doubt, keep rolling them 6s. This isn't the co-op. There's no hexes. Keep rolling them 6s.
I'll take that.
Right. And then I will use my CP. Heal 3.
All right. Yep, Pirate's Life. I did forget that is one way to sustain while flipped. Normally I use it the other way and gain extra doubloons with it, because that more or less equates to 4 health if you think of it that way, because it prevents cursed.
Sorry, I forgot about it.
But it heals 3 on this side, which is nearly just as good. Plus, it gives you an extra turn with a a fully upgraded board, so to speak. So arguably, it could be even better. It is a pretty good card altogether. 1 CP for desperately needed sustain from the pirate. The Pirate's Life, indeed. I never really appreciated that pun. The Pirate's Life. It's keeping her alive. I love how punny this game is. Oh, top decked a status hate removal card. The pirate definitely hates to see it. I assume top decked since it wasn't played last turn. Looks like a 3/4/5, an open-ended micro straight, and nearly a bonded soul. I'm sorry, not a bonded soul, and nearly a Feral Instincts there.
And I'm going to be dealing.
Oh wait, yeah, it just flopped the Predatory Advance, so just locking that in. Fair enough.
5 dice. Alright, so that is 1 damage. I prevent 2, so that's 4. And I gain 3 CP. I'm just gonna take it all the way down to 11 because I was at 19. So because of the 4 in my upkeep, right?
Alright, so I'm going to trade in Blood Bond to do Savage Slash. I roll, but either way, I inflict 1 bleed on you, so no point in rolling. So I'll inflict a bleed.
Yeah.
But I
Alright.
will roll just for fun.
Alright, so hoping to status affect the pirate to death
so we
here.
roll for both bleeds.
So both bleeds result in 2 damage. That's not good.
Yeah, I knew there was no way I was this. Let me roll for powder keg.
And the
Oh, so it
keg
transfers
does
to
get
the
thrown,
other
and
one.
immediately the first one blows up for 3.
Close up.
Down to 18 now. That might be within kill range of an ult if Pirate can chain enough kegs.
Okay, I'm gonna use curse card. I draw a card.
Yeah, it's hard to justify paying for health with this low health in the late game, considering that you
Yeah.
bleed out for
I'm gonna use
4.
Scurvy. So I take.
But he's gonna pay for the
One
scurvy.
damage,
I mean,
but
it evens out. 1 damage for one prevented damage persistently.
Go.
So, all right, 2, 3, 4, an open-ended micro straight,
How many cards do you have in your hand?
but only 1/6.
I got nothing. No.
Opponent's got nothing though, so he's absolutely free reign to chase whatever dreams may be dreamed.
3, 4.
Looking like the straights.
Again.
3 and 4.
Man, you
Wow,
guys are kidding
didn't
me. What
improve
is
it.
with
Poor
these
guy.
rolls? That's
Yeah,
cut glass, I guess.
that probably solidified the end of the game there.
So that's 5 damage, but I will use a modifier. So I roll 5. 1 per.
Oh yeah, a
sword,
large
and
straight with run you
at
through
least
could have
2
absolutely been
swords.
enough damage. Well,
Add,
honestly,
powder kick to-
Nairo was probably going to take it all. It
Wow.
needed to be an ultimate
Man,
for this
that
to
was a
win
crappy
this
kill.
turn.
That was really cruddy. So
Yeah.
this is 6 damage.
6 damage.
Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes the dice just don't want to play with you. Yeah, this looks like it's probably going to be game for the Huntress.
So on that,
Because, yeah, no CP and no cards remain on the Cursed Pirate side.
taking 6.
If you deal 1
There are
damage,
2
it's
withers,
kill.
though, so it will have to be a very
Still have
precise
bleeds on you, right?
type of attack.
Yep, and I still have 2 bleeds.
Okay.
There's seriously 0 way to win this.
So
Yeah, with a
Yep.
with an active Naira, the odds are pretty decent this is over.
that's a 5.
Okay, the keg just sits there menacingly. And roll them bones. What do we got? Decent length towards a savage. No, I'm just gonna keep the spears. That's fair. You could get a yep. So there's one of the necessary 5s. So just need another spear, and this will be game over.
My heal near 1.
Oh, predatory advance. I keep forgetting about that.
5. Defend a
5.
So yeah, pirate's gonna have to roll
You roll these
3
ones.
6s at least to live. Didn't get
Yep,
enough.
GG.
That'll do it. Yeah, 3 damage back to the Huntress. Then that ends the game once Pirate starts upkeep. Actually, maybe ended it now. I didn't catch how much damage Predatory did. But yeah, good game to the Huntress. So looks like our final match will be a Huntress or Barbarian against a Paladin, and I'm not sure what the second hero of top 500 player was. So we'll figure that out shortly. But yeah, good game to both, and we'll be right back with the grand finals, I believe.
to say who you are if you want. Or
Just
however you want
reveal.
Yep. Go
I
ahead.
wrote it down.
Yep. So I'm banning Shadow Thief. Huntress, right?
When will I get to play Shadow Thief?
Maybe not at all.
Ever in this tournament now.
Yeah. Well, if I win, we do play a second game because double elimination. So, in order for you to lose, you have to lose twice.
Where's my? Hey, what the?
Yeah.
My Black Infinity token's gone. What the? Where is it? There it is. Ugh.
Alrighty. So yeah, looks like we're gonna have a Paladin versus Barbarian grand finals match here. The Paladin player has not lost yet, and it is a double elimination tournament. So if Barbarian wins the first one, it will reset the bracket, which means it'll then be whoever wins wins, because they'll both have one loss at that point. And it sounds like if that were the case, they could ban, like reset who it is that they ban and go for that second match. So otherwise, yeah, the Paladin player's other hero was Shadow Thief. That's who's been banned from him consistently. So yeah, we have from the winner's side, we have the Paladin, who has style and who has grace, and we've got the Barbarian from the loser side, who will smash you in the face. So we shall see which will come through on this first match, perhaps last match.
Alright, we'll roll. He goes first. I rolled a 1.
Roll the 6.
Okay. And so here we go. Draw my 4.
How to settle quickly. Played double up.
Alright.
No. Tell that. Barb. Sell that.
Yep.
Alrighty. So I'm not really sure what is established or argued as the best opening for Paladin. I would assume there's a certain, assumed bread and butter when it comes to gain your status effects one turn, unload all of them the next turn, lather, rinse, repeat. But with the lack of basic attack, I assume that there's a sufficient amount of, sometimes you just got to keep what the dice give you as well. Yeah, and there's always that option to tithe through your CP to successfully lock in the ability you're seeking, but that can absolutely drain resources fast. All right, that one paid out pretty quick.
Righteous combat.
So,
Alright, yep, you're good. That goes through, yep.
Deal 4 and deal 5.
5, alright. Roll my defense. And all 5 goes through.
all right.
Cast turn.
Uh,
I'm gonna grab my copy of the Paladin on my end here so I can be a little more specific on my descriptions or my knowledge here.
and then play one more time. I'm gonna roll the one more time.
I can't see one of your dice because of the glare.
Okay. Let me change my lighting, see if that'll help. Let me know if it gets better. Is that better?
But
Goodness. I'm gonna mute myself just a moment.
3, 4, 6.
I saved
Alright.
the 6. And yeah, so that was that's still on my first roll. So gonna re-roll everything. Except the 6. Keep that 6. Sword. Alright, that's overpowered. That's a 1-1-2-6-6. Here, I'll put it back in here. Show you up here. So does that go through?
Yep.
Alright, I still gotta roll for the. Let me roll to see what the value is. Ooh.
There's a sweet old lady walking a couple beagles outside, but it is apparently blasphemy to my dogs, so seeing if I can get them to be quiet about that and ignore that a bit.
And add 1 per sword. So that was 8. That's 9, 10, 11, 12. And I'm inflicting concuss. So the total damage is 12 on that turn.
Prevent 4 with the defense.
Yep.
Alrighty. I find that Barbarian can gas himself out early, burning through all his resources, inflicting concussion on the opponent once, maybe twice. You would think that would keep it about even,
Yep.
but I find that because Barbarian usually has to spend more resources to make that happen, after, let's say turn 3 or 4, when the Barbarian can no longer keep chaining those concussions, the opponent can pull ahead just by resource management alone sometimes. So it's going to be fun to find out if that is successful or not. The Paladin has already healed or prevented a very significant amount of damage so far.
So taking 3. Alright, so my turn. I'm gonna go ahead and play getting paid. I'm gonna upgrade Sturdy Blow, so that now deals 6 undefendable instead of 4. That's Sturdy Blow 3. Alright, I'm gonna roll. So I rolled a 1, 2, 2, 6, and 4. Go ahead and keep the 6. 6, 2. So that's 3 hearts, or 2 hearts actually. So It's a 2, 5, 5, and 6. So that's a whiff. Your turn.
Yep. The last time I saw statistics about whiffs in tournaments, the odds of the player who whiffed being able to win dropped down significantly. Like, it was insane how strong it was. It was like the person who whiffed, who also won, only occurred like something ridiculous, like maybe 4 or 5% of the time, or maybe it was like 8. Let's say it was 8. To no need to engage in hyperbole there. But yeah, whiffing is absolutely devastating in a tournament experience, at least from the statistics I've seen on it. So
Not gonna count.
it's a heartbreaker to have to just bow to the whims of your dice if they just don't stop giving you mediocrity, but sometimes you just have to.
Come on. Sad. So sad.
Okay, looks like it's nearly a righteous combat again. It's also fairly close to a mighty prayer, but both of which are going to cost CP to
One.
get. Okay. Not sure where to go with on that one. Might just be chugging through more CP to try to get the mighty prayer. Yep, tithing through. Praying to the dice gods, praying to RN Jesus here. Looks like he's trying to go for righteous combat. And it's back to where it was. That's always cruel. Spend a CP, nothing changes. Wasn't that fun? Alright, chugging through all the resources here, trying to avoid that whiff. Looks like locking in righteous combat attempts. Alright, got the wrong side. So, yep. Chug through 3 CP and a whiff. That'll definitely equalize the odds for both players now. Both have had a whiff. Let's see. 42 to 46. So it's a little bit more resources for the barb, but more status effects for the paladin. I'd say it remains pretty darn even.
Thanks, man.
Trade in 1 card for a CP. And roll.
Alright, looks like
1, 2, 3. And then the other 2 are 5s. And
so
reroll
keeping
them.
the swords, maybe looking for a small straight, or maybe even just a basic attack. Yeah, to that second roll, he may just lock in the basic.
That's a 1 and a 2.
But his opponent doesn't have any CP, so he can be a little adventurous, especially if he has dice mods.
Dealing 8 defense.
But nope, staying conservative with it, gonna lock in the basic attack. Decent defense from the paladin, 2 CP and blocking 2.
So then, my second main phase, I'm gonna play Get That Out of Here on your accuracy.
Okay. Yep.
Your turn now.
So the removal of the accuracy means that an undefendable attack will have to be defendable now, probably. If that's worth compared to, let's say, the 4 damage that a crit would add, it's a good question. Barbarian's defense rolls 3 dice, and on a third of a chance on each of those die prevents 2 damage. So if 2 1/3 succeed, it's the same difference. If fewer than 2 do,
2 CP.
it's actually worse than targeting the crit. But if he rolls all 3 hearts, absolutely, the accuracy was the worthwhile. So I would almost say it might have been more worth, or at least more reliable, to choose to remove the crit rather than the accuracy. But I'm not 100% on that. I mean, we're about to find out because he's doing a large straight, it looks like, after roll 1, or at least attempting to lock it in.
Yep. I got no CP, so I can't do anything. So you're dealing how much?
Now.
Huh?
Okay, so the large straight as it lies is heal 2, deal 8, and he's got the crit to add 4 to that, making it 12.
And you're cutting out.
Can you hear?
I hear you every now and then.
Well, it's been like a time.
Yeah. That's 8. So I'm gonna roll my defense. So I'm preventing 4 of that.
Okay, so yeah, it ended up being the same difference. The crit or the accuracy, they both basically allowed him to
8.
prevent 4 damage.
34. All right.
Yep.
My turn. And CP. I'm gonna trade in.
Yeah, I've had too many rolls where you know, you roll barbarian defense and then nothing happens to feel like accuracy was the stronger removal compared to crit. But
So I get to roll 3 dice, and I heal 1, and then 2 for every card.
yeah, pure perspective. This card as well, it's an instant, so you can play it whenever you please, and you heal anywhere from 1 to 7, depending upon how many hearts you rolled on those 3. That one I like to hold on to until it saves my life. Like, you know, like you might trick your opponent into thinking that they only need to get 5 damage on this attack, so they'll settle for a weaker attack, and then you pull out that card. Haha, I'm healing at least 1, maybe 3, 5, or 7. And they would have otherwise maybe locked in more damage if, you know, they weren't counting on that card or didn't know you'd already spent that card or what have you. So that's another one of those, kind of like the get paids. Don't play them until you need to, unless your opponent has significant quantities of discard or CP hate, you know, like Pirate does. But even then, those effects that target your CP or target your cards, they're not instant. You can interrupt them with spending those resources. So absolutely wait until necessary to play them, in my opinion. But I mean, there is something to be said about the mental damage of healing a ton early and showing your opponent just how wide a health gap there is. You can force them into being, or attempt to force them into being more aggressive and desperate with their rolls because they feel like they have so much they need to catch up. Things like that. So, by all means, it's a mental game. And if you don't believe me, just wait till you get Loki from the Marvel Dice Throne set. The amount of mental damage that Loki will be able to inflict will be hysterical and infuriating. I look forward to the stories. Alright. So it looks like Paladin's playing his big card. Yep, 4 CP for all the things. And he's absolutely going to swing for the fences here. He and Moon Elf both share that card. 4 CP, get all the statuses. But unlike Moon Elf, he can actually afford it. Oh, and starting out with 3 6s, this is going to be a banger. Like, that is, if 2 6s is a Siren Song, you best believe 3 is. Like, 4 CP, 3 6s. I'm not sure how many cards he has in hand. His opponent only has 1 CP and maybe only 1 card.
Come on.
Alright. Yep. A little frustration going on here. It's if you don't have the dice mods in hand, this can be an absolutely cruel mistress here. Alright, so spending 2 CP here, so probably for a triple up, trying to look for some dice mods. Yeah, that was pretty good. He didn't play that card until he needed it. You could argue maybe playing a card draw card before you go into your roll phase might be better, because then you can sell the cards you don't need so you can afford the dice mods. But if you've got plenty of CP, absolutely do what he did. Wait to play it until you need the resource. So yeah, third roll didn't get anything, so now he's looking for either tithing for those rerolls or maybe playing dice mods from his hand to be more secure in those dice modifications. Because basically for 2 CP he can try again. But he can do it one at a time at least. Alright, he's picking the 1 to reroll. Alright, gets him a sword. So yeah, now you're down to 1 in 16. I'm sorry, 16% chance, 1 in 6. If you want to spin that last one. But to burn through all of that and end up with a whiff, it's definitely going to be frustrating if that occurs. But with that dice array, I don't think there's really anything else you can go for with only 1 reroll. And picking up the 3. Nope, picking up the 2. Ah, got a heart.
Right.
No, yep.
It's another whiff.
To his credit, can anyone truly resist the Siren Song that is 3 6s on the flop? That's tough.
Alright, I'm gonna draw.
Just start calling the 3 dice rolls of the offensive roll phase, you know, like Texas Hold'em, the flop, the turn, the river. Like, he gets a mini ult on the river.
Going to bye-bye the protect.
Alright, opting to remove his damage mitigation rather than his damage return. Barbarian does like to keep it a quick game.
Keep a 4, 5, and a 6.
4, 5, and 6. I mean, a small straight is not upgraded, so it will be defendable. Now he's got 3 hearts, which isn't anything.
So that's 3 hearts.
Well, not say anything, it's not much.
And a 5.
Like, healing for 4, I think, isn't.
Heal 4.
So,
And then it's your go.
it's a fallback, but keeping a micro straight that's not open-ended, you know, keeping 1, 2, 3, or keeping 4, 5, 6, you really lower the odds of what you can roll. The math is so close on whether or not you should keep that 6 or not, that it's certainly arguable whether you should pick up that 6 and try to re-roll for straights. I mean, but if it's good enough for the Dice Throne adventure minions to not keep a 6 or a 1 unless it makes a small straight, it's good enough for me.
Can break.
Yeah, picking up everything. Poor Paladin doesn't have a basic attack, so a multitude of swords is only so useful. Alright, 2, 2, 4, 4, 5. Yeah, when you're missing 3s and 4s with your connectors, it can be very frustrating what to keep. Typically, keep the higher dice because they're usually rarer symbols or more powerful symbols for your attacks. But he's got 3 CP to rerolls as much as he pleases. Well, nearly as much as he pleases. Yeah, that's a tough one. Maybe keep the swords and helmets and go for a righteous combat, because it is base damage 5, so it's good enough for accuracy. And that gives you 1/3 of a chance. Yeah, it looks like he's coming to that conclusion too. Or at least weighing the odds of it, or considering it as an option. Because otherwise you'd pick up 2 and 4 and try to get a 3 out of it. Alright, I got it in 1. So for third roll, attempting to lock in that righteous combat, which is gonna be at least 9 undefendable, probably more. Actually not. But he's gonna heal 2 and gain a CP, so that's an 11 damage undefendable swing along with a spare CP. No complaints there. And still has that retribution ready for a large smack from the barbarian.
Go to 31.
And we'll
Yep. Health is pretty close. Resources remain fairly close too. So this is maintained a tight game.
I can roll. 3, 4, 5.
So yeah, an open-ended micro straight right there just feels a lot safer to pick. Because yeah, there's a 6, that does it.
It's my large straight.
Oh, you got the 2 as well. Now that's debatable whether a large straight is Because this is probably going to hurt him just as much as the other. If anything, this will be extremely equalized.
It's a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And
Maybe
that's on
not.
my second roll. Got that retribution.
Or that resolves.
What's that? Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm doing if you let it go through.
I'll spend the retribution and just
Okay.
roll the.
Okay, so that prevents 2. So the prevention of that are added or subtracted, they're crunched first, and then multiply and divides are crunched.
Dealing 13, so with the
So he's returning 7 damage.
getting 10 back.
And yeah, so at the end of it all, that large straight with that retribution on the board, that was like doing 3 damage.
So I'm dealing
And saying, your turn. Like,
minus the 13.
that's rough.
So it's half of
6.5. You round it up.
so 7. So yeah, you're at 11. So I'm gonna play not this time to prevent 6 of that.
Okay, so the not this time does help out quite a bit, but that can prevent any 6 damage, whether it be attack, defense,
Your turn.
whatever. As long as you're in a roll phase, you can play that card.
Card.
So I suppose that does help
AC.
soften the blow a bit. Literally. But yeah, that's like the large straight is a finisher more than it is a
Sure.
get ahead type of attack. Unless your opponent is not able to return much damage consistently. It's only on average worth about 2 or 3 health more than the small straight, which does check for most boards, I'd say. Most of the time, the small straight compared to the large straight is about a 3-point spread. But yeah, that return damage innately built into this large straight, if the whole thing is not prevented, really kind of mitigates everything to where it's best used for a finishing blow. Like if your opponent is at a high health, well, sorry, like it's at like low teens or like, double digit health, but only like 10 or 11 or so. Large straight absolutely is worth it. The return damage doesn't matter. You defeated your opponent. But sometimes it's barely feels any better suit sometimes if your small straight's upgraded and your small straight's undefendable. You might just take that instead.
Upgrade, see what it does.
What is this?
Okay, so that is a retaliate, which served him pretty well the previous turn. He's not really aching for CP though. Being the health bars and yeah.
Use retaliate 2. Retribution and P.
Yep.
Draw a card using. And
Alright, my turn. Alright. Draw a card. I'm just gonna sell concuss. I don't think that's gonna affect you that much. So I might as well just upgrade my overpower. So that just gives me another ability, Warcry. I can heal 2, deal 2 undefendable.
All right, 1, 3, 5, 5, 6. I mean, it's perfectly legit to keep just the 6 and reroll everything as the barb, but after the second roll, if you don't get any more 6s, it starts to get a little nerve-wracking.
Overpower on my
Hey,
second
but that's what you like to see, roll 2.
roll. If that goes through, I'll roll 3.
Yeah, the retribution is definitely going to remain strong, but at this point, I think the health spread is strong enough in the barbarian's favor that he doesn't care.
How many cards do you have in hand? Just curious.
6.
6. Okay. I figured it was a lot.
Yeah, but plenty of CP and 6 cards in hand. He could do something really funny, like after he rolls his 3 dice to determine overpower's damage, could play twice as wild and make a couple of the high ones into 1s.
Go ahead.
May not even want to because he's got retribution.
Roll 3.
But considering the health deficit, probably would want to.
Oh, that sucked.
I hate to see it.
Healing 5.
Yeah. An average of 3 dice is 10 damage. That rolled 5, so unfortunately pretty low.
Rollies.
And he's preventing 2, doing 1 back. Honestly, may not even bother to play Retribution.
26. 0 CP. Your turn.
Alright, so yeah, 10 health lead for the Barbarian, but plenty of resources in the Paladin's favor here. The Barbarian, like I kind of said earlier on the game, sometimes Barbarian kind of gasses himself out and just can't really do anything about
Roll heal 4.
all the resources that the opponent can play to maintain or gain a lead. But there is a significant health deficit even with that recent card played there by the Paladin. Yeah, 6 CP, 6 cards in hand. This will probably be a strong turn. The dice do have to agree with it though. 3, 4, 5, open-ended micro. I mean, it's not a status effect buffed turn. So yeah, honestly, maybe you would prefer Mighty Prayer, but not a single symbol for it appeared. So would have to either settle for straight chasing or pick them all up to go for that Mighty Prayer. And it looks like he's settling on the straight attempt. And nothing new to assist with, unfortunately. He keeps rolling blue and red, and he needs white and yellow. Plenty of CP to try again as much as needed, especially even if nothing changes. Alright, so there's a 6. So, probably happy with just the small...
Small straight.
Yeah.
Alright.
So,
Goes through.
heal 1, deal 6,
I'm gonna roll my defense.
and the Barbarian will probably heal 2 back. No, healed 4 back, so he only took 2 damage. So,
Gotta
inflict 2,
roll 5.
heal 1. It's not really the turn you're looking for. Hopefully the Paladin's got plenty of dice hate cards in hand to prevent Barbarian from slipping away with this game.
Gonna roll.
Okay, can't quite see what that 5th dice is from the glare. 2, 2,
4 and a 5.
4, 5. Huh, whatever it was, you didn't like it. Oh. More hearts and a 2.
I'm just gonna re-roll that roll. My
Yeah.
third roll. Looks like that's a 3 heart fortitude. I got a 1, 2, 4, 5, 5. So I'm healing 4 if that goes through.
Use.
Good. Oh, you're gonna tip it?
What's your dice?
So I got a 1, 2, 4, 5, and a 5. So
To a
If-
6.
6. Okay. That would be.
Nice, that is a whiff, assuming the Barb doesn't have any.
Then I could do.
Ah,
Heal
yeah,
two,
he's got the war
then
cry.
roll and heal 2. So if you want to do that,
Oh.
you want to change your mind on that? Either way, I'm going to get a war cry. And then if you, well, yeah, it's either a fortitude or a war cry, pretty much.
Didn't see your war cry. Whoops. Alright.
Yeah. Yeah. So overpower 2. So is that war cry going to go through then? Okay. So go ahead, your turn.
Yeah, that's the benefit of especially online play, if you have the opponent's heroes, set them up and play their upgrades as they play them on their board. You can usually keep track of one game's, there's only 4 dice hate cards on average. There's only 4 status effect hate cards. You can usually mentally keep track game per game of that. But I mean, if you're welcome to play their entire hand card for card, as you go through. Like, if you do it often enough, you'll get quick enough that you're not holding up the game. And yeah, like this game is the only unfriendly thing with newbies with this game, in my opinion, is that to play dice hate cards effectively, you need to know your opponent's board pretty well to make sure you don't accidentally give them something very good. All right, so I'm not sure if that was second or third roll, but we got a menial threatening on the paladin. Not sure if he's gonna lock that in or try to spend some resources to manufacture an ultimate. Oh, looks like it. Yeah, tip it would have been nice this turn since that was a 5. Yeah, I don't.
So wild.
Even if the tippet had made it a whiff last turn, I don't think preventing your opponent from
Nothing I can do about that.
healing 4 would have been worth a dice hate resource. He only got 4 of those.
Deal 10.
But doesn't matter. He's got plenty of resources and he's spending them. So we got a paladin ultimate here. That's gonna definitely put this game back into anybody's territory. If anything, paladin's showing a very strong advantage now.
Sell, try again, and pass the turn.
Okay.
So yeah, Barbarian doesn't have any way to inflict multi-damage, so to speak. Like, he doesn't have any burns or poisons or anything like that. Doesn't have any way to do damage outside of the result of the offensive roll phase 1 time per turn, and that's it. So that Blessing of Divinity is a very, very strong status effect for the Paladin in this matchup. There's nothing that the Barbarian can do about it. He's just gonna have. So if Paladin can orchestrate it to where a hit from Barbarian puts him at very, very low health but doesn't outright kill him, he's manufactured a whole free turn. And with Barbarian sitting at 16 health, that free turn is absolutely gonna be enough, or very likely to be.
Gonna reroll. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, an unupgraded small straight, I believe, is 9 defendable for the Barb.
What I'm gonna do here. Yeah, I got a mighty blow if that goes through, so that would be dealing 9 defendable.
Yeah, so tries to lock in the small straight here. An unupgraded Paladin defense can only deal 1 damage back, so 15 health with a Paladin that doesn't have a ton of modifiers. That's not going to be enough to kill, most likely. So that retribution that he's got will hopefully, that he stole, will hopefully be able to provide a strong enough swing to maybe kill the Paladin on his next turn, quote unquote kill him. The Blessing of Divinity will prevent it. But otherwise, I want to say that the Paladin has 3 turns here to knock out a 14 health Barbarian with very few resources. I'd say the odds are pretty strong in the Paladin's favor.
Get that out here on your retribution.
Yep, that'll slow the resources down pretty well. So yeah, this was what it feels like as the Pirate versus the Huntress sometimes, where it's just like the boards look even, but then you look at that get out of jail free card and you go, actually no, it's not, because even more so than Naira for the Huntress, Blessing of Divinity is an absolute get out of jail free card, especially against someone like the Barbarian or the Samurai, who often can't do damage outside of their ORP, or at least not very easily, if at all. The Blessing of Divinity does allow you to survive an ultimate. The ultimate goes through all of its damage, so it does everything. It's not breaking any rules of how ultimates go. And then the Blessing of Divinity, after all that damage goes through, checks the health status, sees that the player's at 0, bumps him up to 1, and goes away. So Blessing of Divinity is about the only thing really on the player side that quote unquote response to an ultimate, because it doesn't. It kind of gets around it.
But that's not all I need, I guess. I'm gonna play with status effects. Get rid of your retribution.
Okay.
Right,
So yeah,
go ahead and roll.
status hate cards have been coming in clutch the last couple turns here for the barbarian to try to keep him in, keep him alive. But he's gonna have to hit very hard.
4 and a 5.
Ah, I did forget about this. Barbarian with the stun. Barbarian with the stun could overcome the blessing of divinity. So
Ooh. So that's a reckless if it goes through. That's a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I'm not sure if he wants to lock that in.
Use
Because that. Okay, well, doesn't matter. He's helping hand in it.
What was that you played?
helping hand.
Okay.
On... Your use your 3.
3. Okay.
Right.
3,
So that might end up being a war cry.
2 there. That's a 5.
It looks like it's just going to be a heal 4.
I would present with fortitude and a heal 4. If that's good. Yeah. Alright, so I go to 15. And you're
Yeah. You never really want to roll for the heal unless, for whatever funny reason, you had to upgrade that game or felt that it was a good expenditure of resources, and you know you're able to remove a very powerful status effect that your opponent inflicted on you, or you're just sunk with like a parlay or something like that. So yeah, fortitude being a backup roll whenever your roll doesn't agree with you, pretty common. Never roll hearts, as Manny would put it. Alright, we nearly got a retaliate there. Got partway to a mighty prayer. The mighty prayer might be the more valuable of the options to go for. It looks like he agrees. Alright, he got closer, but still needs one more sword. He's got enough resources, he can probably afford that third roll and then tithing to get there. Especially since his opponent can't really mess with his dice. So it looks like he agrees, going for it. So yeah, got it in 3, didn't even need to burn any CP for it.
Mighty
So
Prayer.
that'll be 3 undefendable and the crits and accuracies for next turn. So 3 undefendable, putting him down to 12, and a 4 added from a crit, and being able to turn it undefendable. If he can do base 8 damage, that'll kill. Slim odds that he can do that. That'll require a mini ult, I think, or a large straight. Large straight is base 8. So this definitely puts the barbarian in kill range, especially if paladin's able to defend against the barbarian's turn.
We're gonna reroll. And another 6. So that's a mighty blow for 9 defendable if it goes through on my third roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6.
That goes through.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah, even the ability to add 1 damage to this, which he did not roll sword, might have been worth it. I'm not sure base he can do 7 very often, but righteous combat could certainly roll 7 damage. So yeah, turning the barbarian from 12 to 11 would have been absolutely worth it, considering the crit and accuracy here.
card.
So, but to end the game, probably needs a large straight or a mini ult, or of course an ultimate. But righteous combat could do it, but it would require a very precise roll, which you might be able to manufacture. But tons of hearts ain't gonna do it. Like, that's mostly for gaining resources, and now's the time to strike rather than build up. There's already plenty built up. I'm not sure what to keep on that, if anything. Maybe just the sword, maybe nothing. Maybe 5/6 if you were chasing your best odds for straight, but like I said, I don't really like it when they don't connect. I've grown to agree with the DTA how to roll for straights for minions and bosses more and more. Except I don't really like keeping like 2 and 5 if you don't have both 3 and 4. It feels chasing just one die result stresses me out. I prefer to keep it open-ended. Though the odds actually even out pretty darn close. A lot closer than you'd think. So yeah, it looks like he might be going for a mini ult here, because that would put it within kill range. Could even keep a crit chain going as well, if it doesn't somehow kill. He's got a small straight. That's not enough. It needs to be a large straight. And it's not open-ended, so he could pick up a 6 with his tithe and attempt to turn it into 2. That would be several.
Small straight.
Third roll? Or second?
This is.
I think that was his third roll.
Remember.
I think
Just
it's I think it's your second.
whatever.
I'm thinking.
Throw?
Hold on. I'm thinking. I can do something. I'm just thinking if I want to. Yeah, I'm gonna helping hand something.
See, honestly, at this point, I probably would have let him go through with it.
The helping hand.
Just because so many combat points to tithe reroll dice until you get back into, like, if anything, this might, this comes up with a 6.
All right.
Well,
So you're good.
so yeah, he's actually able to declare that he's not going to lock in anything and do some rerolls. At that point, I would have, because he could have won the game right here if he picked up that 6, turned it into a 2 with 7 rerolls on the combat point dial.
I was at 12 health.
I mean, 1 in 6 with 7 chances.
This is wild.
Okay.
That would do it.
Wait. Hold up.
Ah, he's. Never mind. He's not doing the small straight. He is twice as wilding into a mini ult, which will absolutely kill. It'll do 12 damage on the dot with the crit and accuracy.
Prayer thing.
I thought you were doing the small straight.
You change my dice. I can change it again.
Oh.
I think.
All right. No, you're good. I missed something there. All right. So that's game then. You win.
Yep. Yeah, Paladin was undefeated this tourney and won it.
All right.
So yeah, good games all. Thank you so much, Mud Turtle, for putting on this tournament. It's been a pleasure commentating. I hope it was of value to the internet. And I'll probably be back on streaming very shortly because Mud Turtle and I need to play a semifinals match in a different tournament. So catch y'all after a little bit.